welcome to the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. Fuck!
Starting off great.
Shut up! It's a Pavlovian response? I always say the wrong one, but it's just a thing now that when we start this stream that I'm going to start laughing and say something inappropriate because they're all expecting it.
Kira, would it be a session if you didn't do it, though?
I mean, I guess not at this point.
Salivating.
Yeah. I just took a swig of coffee, nitro coffee.
I'm sorry, that's not hydration.
It's not hydration. We'll see. If enough hydrations get redeemed, maybe I will get actual hydration. But I just took a swig of coffee and then the cameras went live. But anyway, hi, welcome to another episode of the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. We're really happy to have you. We're going to go ahead and jump in here really quick. Just wanted to go ahead and say hello to everybody out there. If you're somebody that's joining us for the first time, hi, welcome to our weird little corner of the internet and our awesome little D&D stream that we're trying to figure out here on Mythical Family. If you are new, definitely check out Mythical Family's socials. Come join us on Discord, hang out with us, and just memes about this show and the other things that Mythical Family is doing. Something that I'm going to say multiple times tonight, hopefully, is Mythical Family is just not all about Dungeons and Dragons. It's just one thing out of a wide offering of creating diverse, inclusive space for gamers of all types. And we have a whole bunch of new projects that are cooking really soon that you're going to get to see. So Prismatic Dragonfly just happens to be the first one that got kicked out into the wild. I have a better way of saying that, but you know what I mean. So we're going to go right
Thrown
in.
screaming out the airlock?
Yes, thrown stream. Whereas I don't have my safety cards to put up. Say what?
Safety cards to throw at people?
Yes, to throw at people. No.
You have DM
Yes,
disadvantage.
Vale's referencing many years ago when they threw me out the airlock when we were playing Battlestar Galactica the board game. We were both Cylons, and they betrayed me and blew me out an airlock to keep their cover.
It was you or me.
And I've never let it die. And they just reminded me of that pain. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump in to the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern for tonight. So we pick up dark and stormy night, question mark. It's about 4 in the morning, so you know we're getting through the night at this point. But we are at the Orishire Keep, the Orishire Guard Keep. It sits just off to the west side of the harbor, a little bit out past the main docks, kind of on its own like private island. A carriage from Lady Nervala just pulled up and was dropping off Half Pint, Sonny, and Cass from a little midnight adventure to the nearby Thunderpad construction site, where they had decided to try and help Lady Nervala and her many lieutenants and technicians figure out what had sabotaged their construction efforts. They were successful, thankfully, but being successful meant that an incredible earth-shattering boom heard for probably 50 to 100 miles in every direction went off, and the countryside has been coated in a fine mist of clay. And they just got back to the keep, popped out of the carriage, and Vander, Gaspard, and Matilda all bolted over. They had been busily talking outside their rooms and bolted over to them to say hello / what the hell is going on? We just want a night of peaceful sleep. So that is where we're going to pick up. So you all have just stepped out of the carriage. Vander, Gaspard, and Matilda have just ran their way over to the carriage. Matilda ended up face-stepping the last 30 feet or so and slammed into Sonny and just grabbed her in a big bear hug. And so that's where we pick up. So I'm going to let these two probably start. See if they have anything to say.
Is it better or worse that you're here after all of these events have happened?
Everything went fine.
I have no doubt.
I didn't expect it to be that loud.
These people have just been traumatized.
Are you talking about yourself?
These people and me have just been traumatized, and you have this sonic boom from the heavens erupt.
Really, it came from the Thunderpad.
What did you do with the Thunderpad?
Okay, so we all got, woken up by Half Pint because she couldn't find this one, and just kind of gesture over towards Gaspard as best as she can while still being just hugged.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and we find out that Lady Nervala here is well, asking for help from the guards because there's been an accident at her construction site. Half Pint dragged us all out to go take a look,
Okay.
and we kind of figured, well, maybe it's not a good idea to let her do this by herself.
I mean, Halfway didn't exactly drag us. We went pretty willingly.
Yes, but it was very much she wanted to go.
Gaspard? Well, yeah, we had to save people.
What happened with the Thunderpad?
Did you blow up a thunderpad?
No, we fixed it.
Oh.
Someone had
How was that fixing it though?
laced it with Delmasaur.
Oh.
I should check
So
that
all the
person's
music
act.
was, the magic was just not working properly there, and it was causing accidents and killed a few people.
I
And
mean, that
Half
makes
Pint
sense.
spoke with her god Fade, who told us that a strong enough reaction would burn it out, and they could continue construction.
Half Pint worships a god?
Yes?
How didn't you know that as her best friend?
Our relationship is a little bit more complicated than.
Oh my god,
I think Half Pint believes
are you
they're best
actually
friends.
best friends? Or are you like
Even though I can tell that the answer is no.
I mean,
they friend? I don't
in my long, illustrious life of not 30 years,
Of like 6 months longer than I've been alive.
it's not hard to transcend the top of the list. Exactly when most of your relationships are completely arbitrary and made up.
Okay, but still platonic, right?
I mean, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't just like completely oblivious to
I
everything.
mean, Cass, you've met Half Pint. I don't think she understands anything past that yet.
I don't know.
I have to agree with Sonny here.
Okay, but yeah, we we threw some magic into the Thunderpad, burned off the ore, and now we have brought transportation and overcome internal city politics for the good of the
I
people.
don't think it was internal. Lady Narvala was looking at her records. The ship that delivered materials just before, well, all of this started, it had to stop at the Haven Snout port.
Yes.
Yeah, that totally tracks with everything going on.
So
You
our,
just you threw some magic into a thunderpad?
Yes, through the amplification runes, like if they were going to do the teleportation rituals.
Matilda finally lets Sonny go and just goes like this. Goes, oh my god.
It was
I-
fantastic.
I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad all of you are alive. That's
I took precautions.
I mean, I'm sure that's just something that I would
It worked a little better than I hoped, though. Gaspar, do you remember what you did yesterday? With, and she kind of gestured towards the bottle on her hip.
Drink?
No. The one. Lifts it up. Heta's in there.
Oh yes. Oh, the big beacon. Yes.
I was trying to cast a silence spell, and that worked, but the silence spell appeared inside the replica of the temple from my home.
what does that mean?
Was there there was a temple there?
There is one right now. I don't know how long it's going to be there.
It's very rustic and salty. Well, you should go visit it if it's still there.
Built a silent temple?
I wasn't trying to, and it's not silent now. I dispelled that.
Oh, okay. But you're more right about the similarities, the parallels there. Because see, I made a beacon to lure an evil hag over to us, and after we used a thunderpad to get over to Orishire to get away from Tarwin, you made a new thunderpad.
No, I was talking more about making a temple after you made, well, Heta appear in the sky in front of this entire city.
Oh.
So you're
And I will say, Gaspard, like, this is a proper Thunderpad, not like a little rune circle. Like, and it's going to be set up in a while. Like, it's not fully operational at this point.
Where did Cass go?
So, yeah, like, we're fine. And also, like, it's expensive to use Thunderpads. Like, I doubt Talwin's just gonna be like, I'm just gonna pop over to this.
So you have sped up progress in Orishire, pending on imminent doom. You have started a cult for a
I
religion
didn't
that
start it.
you just brought here. I mean, honestly,
I
bravo.
wasn't trying to. We don't really recruit like that.
Halfblind talked to a god. We had drinks. It was lovely.
I think we're the most normal here.
I kind of think
For
I should have
once,
just
I
gone
am.
with the two of you.
I mean, I slept the whole time. Now I feel really boring by comparison.
Well, I
You were
didn't
one of
want
us.
to wake you up.
No, I appreciated the sleep, but that boom scared me a bit, so I understand.
I was kind of getting used to being taller than you, though.
Oh. Funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are tall?
Well, yeah, sorry, I mentioned that last time when we closed. I should reiterate. Yeah, when you saw Matilda again, she was back to her 6'1" height, when previously she had gone all the way down to like 5'1". She had lost like a whole foot after the attack. So Sonny's old outfit is what she's wearing still, and it fits her much better now, as before it was like floppy almost because she was so small. So yes, she's back to her former height. So
Which is about.
6'1".
Yeah, you are taller.
It's a side effect of what I am, because if you take something away, like a spear, I have to regenerate it. It's not like I'm infinite or anything like that, so I need sleep and rest, and then eventually my body is gonna reset to what it was, sort of thing. So,
Cool. Interesting.
I mean, it's interesting. I've never really wanted to play around with it much, except out of necessity.
I always view myself more as conceptual. But
Why?
well, the fact that I mean, if I make myself bigger, I'm not exactly sure if there's more of me. I've never really thought about it. It's just more.
I mean, but that's fascinating, though. Like, that's who you are, and that's like, it feels like that, especially as somebody that's like an actor, like as a bard, like I would have loved to do that. Like, the only thing I've ever done with this, like she's gesturing at the true form, is like I've been able to do like knife tricks, and the last time I performed with Giovanni, actually, we did this trick where he shot me. And he didn't really understand how it worked. I told him it was magic, but it's just because I can manipulate my body in a way that isn't normal. And it was really fun for stage magic, but I feel like if I was somebody like you that had way more control, because I can do minor things compared to what you can do, and it's fascinating.
I've got to say, your skill set sounds rather impressive, because you should have seen us try to pull a sword out of a giant.
Wait, what?
It's a long story, and she is very impressive.
Thank you.
Where is this woman who is building the Thunderpad?
Right here?
No, Navala stayed back. She just sent
Oh.
you. Yeah, she sent you back with the driver because
She's
she was
with
going
the
to be.
Thunderpad.
Yeah.
She's with the Thunderpad.
Yes, it's her project.
She's a manager, not an intern.
What's the issue with the Thunderpad?
I'm just thinking,
Someone was trying to sabotage it, but it should be fine now.
I would just like to be alerted if, for any reason, he decides to take a little vacation on this side of the continent.
Who?
Poland? Just a normal farmer. Nothing to be worried about.
You seem really worried. You've mentioned that name quite a lot.
We had a lovely conversation once that resulted to me exceeding my normal capabilities and being imprisoned in my own body.
I don't know what happened there. I was looking at wells.
Yes. You're actually a productive adventurer, and we're all just kind of bumbling around.
Excuse me, we were trying to gather information and try to turn him to good and appeal to his inner nature that, like, apparently wasn't there.
Oh, I tried to brute force my way into his mind.
Is that what you've been doing?
Oh, did I not tell you? Yes, no, I sometimes. I mean, it really depends on whether or not I feel the threshold is worth ruining friendship forever.
Long story short, Vander, we met a farmer who turned out to be like a Rune Knight veteran, and
Oh, that's the Rune Knight?
yeah, wasn't a
that's what
farmer.
he's talking about.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
exactly as pragmatic as he sounds.
So he used a Thunderpad to chase you guys?
No, we escaped.
Oh, okay. Through the Thunderpad?
There's not quite a Thunderpad. It was like a runic circle, but similar concept.
It's kind of like second-hand Thunderpad.
Okay. And he doesn't know you're here?
No.
Yeah,
So
so why
you're
are you
fine.
worried?
I mean, he knew Agvir. I mean,
He knew Agner because Agner had lived there for years.
he might know intimate secrets about where he came from. I'm just saying, it's all very concerning.
So, random outsider perspective that you didn't ask for, but you're in a guard's keep right now, and you're also in a city that I consider pretty safe. Like, I wouldn't worry about, especially considering you're probably considered a hero at this point. I don't think you have too much to worry about right now, Gaspard. I mean, I hope.
And you didn't just wake up probably the entire city.
I mean, just be thankful they don't know that was you.
I will
We did nothing.
understand your apprehension to jumping to worst case scenarios, but I will just remind you of the past day we've experienced. But yes, no,
What is our next step anyway?
So by the way, just to set the scene, because I'm loving all this, but just to remind everybody of the scene, like, so you're standing outside, the carriage now has just kind of pulled away and left because they're going back. Half Pine's not standing with you, but you do hear a door close in the distance, and it looked like Half Pine just went back to there. They slipped away during the intense conversation.
And Half Pine has a horse.
Yes, which is being taken to the stables. The horse she took from the stables, actually. But yeah, and you guys are standing out of the storm, and you guys are fine, but I just wanted to remind you of the scene, so.
I mean, I love the rain as much as the next person, but it is very early in the morning. We've had a day and a half. Either we should sleep or like party in my room. I don't know. Like, I actually don't need to sleep anymore.
Gaspard and I are perfectly fine. I don't know about you two. Unless you want to sleep more. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of an odd sleep schedule for all of us right now, considering well, actually, I've slept a lot. I don't know how much you've all slept.
I was trying to when all of this started.
I got my solid 4 hours.
Ah, elf. Well, I mean, there's still plenty of places already that are going to be open for breakfast if you just want to give up on trying to sleep and eat something, but I didn't know what you all had planned for the day while you were waiting to talk to Kovita.
I can always cook for us.
Frankly, at your mercy, it seems, cosmically speaking, so whatever you all do, I'll join you.
Yeah.
To the dinner hall, if there is one, or whatever the equivalent of a kitchen is here.
I'm sure, and she like glances back at the keep, and you can all see that there's plenty of lights still flickering in the keep at this point, so people are still up and about, especially probably after the boom. And other than that, though, there still are no guards present, so you have no idea where most of the keep is right now after the boom. I'm sure that Kovita like has something in a mess hall in there, but there's a couple good taverns nearby, or you could just come back to the Emporium and eat too, because I have plenty of food there and it's safe, and I could get out of Sonny's clothes and patch the hole and like.
I think we should go to the Emporium.
That would be.
Sounds like a good idea.
I would appreciate that myself if you don't mind. So, does that sound good?
Sure, always.
Okay. So you guys set out from the Orshire Guards Keep, and you can dip out the main gate because it's still open from the boom and probably all of the soldiers rushing out into the city. And as you make your way out into Orshire, despite the thunder and the rain, beyond that it's really quiet. You see people in the distance. You kind of hear, distant conversations or maybe music in tavern and stuff, but the rain is still very insulating in like a privacy layer almost as you walk around. And even though Orshire is a big bustling city right now, it's pretty calm at 4:30 in the morning kind of thing. So you get a decent view of the city as there's plenty of light trickling in through the clouds, and there's magical street lamps and other sources of light throughout the city and stuff too. So Matilda will take you on the most direct path to the Emporium, but she keeps it along the docks so you can see like the bay white capping a little bit and a lot of different ships still coming in and out of port somehow in the bad weather. And yeah, so you have a nice little bit of time just on your walk if you would like to do anything particularly on the walk, or we can jump to the Emporium.
Stock up on tea.
Do you make that known to anybody? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say, let's take a quick detour to get some tea.
If you need any sort of supplies, there's actually a small market on the way that's always open if you want.
Yes.
Okay. and she will deviate and take you down. Within a block or so, Matilda motions towards everybody and is like, here, come down here. And she takes you down a random alley. And this alley is the brightest thing that you've seen since being outside of the keep. And it is just dotted with really old looking lanterns that are just strung from these rickety frayed like strings and threads and stuff like that. But it is covered as well. So once you're like 50 feet inside, the rain stops hitting you and you see that there's just some oily tarp that's been stretched over the top of the alley. And inside this area is the first people that you've really seen outside of the keep as well. And they look pretty dry, pretty happy. And they're milling about between a few businesses that are open. And one is, there's no signs outside, but you can kind of tell that one looks like it's some sort of a tavern and the other is probably the store that she's talking about. And she just beelines for it and throws the door open and pops inside.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So this store has no windows, one door, but as soon as you walk in, it feels like you stepped into the ideal grandmother's house of legend. Because the inside is not particularly laid out like a typical general store with aisles of things, but it actually kind of reminds you a little bit of how Hammond has his shop laid out, where things are kind of eclectically around the place. You don't see anybody in here. Everything's clearly labeled with what it is, like overly detailed what it is, how much money it is. Some of them even say when they were made, if they're a drop or a potion or something like that. And it smells really good, but it could potentially be overpowering because there's lots of herbs in here, but all fresh herbs, and you might love it at this
Oh,
point.
he is ecstatic.
And there is a big tea section where there's different sizes of barrels from, full-on barrel to small little cute countertop barrel of teas and just herbs against one entire wall. So
He's gonna start picking everything.
just okay. Yeah.
Not everything literally, but like an assortment of
He's
all
gonna.
the stuff.
We'll get you an assortment of herbs. Okay. Yeah. So you
Herbs,
can.
spices, teas.
Yep. You can just mark down like an assortment of herbs, spices, and tea, and then you'll have it for a while. So. And Matilda's just going to stand there and kind of look around and like squeeze water out of the clothing that she's wearing currently. If anybody else is going to look for anything.
Is there an import section?
An import section. There is a small import section, but what are you looking for?
Maple candy from Treetop.
Ooh. Okay, that's a bit of a rare one.
Andrew could always make you some.
I mean, depends on how common maple syrup is.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, you can get it outside of Treetop, but it's kind of the equivalent to Treetop being Canada, having the good grade, AAA grade and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's typically from Treetop. But yeah, there is a small little parchment wrapped pile of it. There's like 3 or 4 of them in a little pile in the import section it primarily has things from like Arlia and Iridan, but it does have some of the maple candies.
Oh my god. Cass is blocking that instantly.
Is she taking the whole pile?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
They're a gold a pop. So
And how many
import.
were there are like 4?
4. Yep.
Yeah, I will take that.
Yeah. Everything if you're going to get an assortment of the 3 different categories, it's based on how much I think Vander's going to grab, probably 2 gold. So,
Sounds good.
okay.
Matilda, you've shopped here before. What would be the most impressive, expensive thing here?
In what context? Like you're trying to impress someone or
Yeah, you basically you look at it and you go, yes, this is prime Orishire thing from this particular store.
I mean, as the proprietor of what I would consider one of the best stores, if not the best store in Orishire, I would say I have most of the impressive things. But if you're talking about this spot, the lady that runs it is incredibly sweet, and I love her to death. And she just has oddities in here that usually I don't have because they're a little more, I don't even know the right word, esoteric. Give me a minute and I'll look. And she just kind of wanders off and starts weaving her way through stuff.
Just
So
like counting my gold.
yes, she will take a minute and see what she can find for you. Anybody else looking for anything while you're in there? Which I guess would just be Sonny at this point because everybody else is doing something.
I don't think she has anything specific, so I think she's just kind of probably following like 6 or 7 feet behind Matilda and just kind of seeing, it's like, okay, what's over here?
Okay. Lots of, like, it's just a really wonderful, insulated, safe little shop after everything you guys have been through. And yeah, really comforting, and it has most of your basic supplies and then some oddities as well. About 3 minutes later, Matilda, you just hear her exclaim from a corner of the shop where you can't really see her, and you see the blue hand go up, and she throws something at you. She's like, "Expired, here!"
It didn't work last time!
You can easily catch these. But as you catch them, you see a pair of, like, really ragged, kind of thick, like, farmer's gloves.
So, I have, I see here, 950 gold. Is this somewhere like around the 950 gold range?
You hear Matilda laugh, and she finally, like, weaves her way out of the corner of the shop that she was in. And as she turns the corner, you see the blue Eladrin again. And she has the same blue hair, her height adjusted a little bit, her proportions adjusted, and she looks like the blue Eladrin that you first met again. And she goes, "Why are you trying to spend a certain amount of money or something? Or, like, what's the..."
I've never had a lot of money before, and so now I just seem to still have it, and it's weird. So I would just like to, get something that people with this exuberant amount of money get.
Okay. I mean, I understand. I guess I understand what you're going for. I don't know how much those are because I ripped the peg off, but I think that was only like in the 100, 200 range. But those are really nice.
What are they?
Gloves of spell muting, and I've only seen a couple pair before. It's not like they're ancient or relic-y or anything, but the bard that made them went out of business like a long time ago, and I think they retired. But you put them on, and anything that you do only has the visual effects of it. So a wizard could literally slap those babies on and cast Fireball, and you're going to see the Fireball, and the Fireball's going to go boom, but nobody gets hurt. So I've always liked them. I've never got a pair myself, but I don't really need them right now because I don't do shows anymore. But they're handy because you can also do that. You can also do something that might be perceived as evil or dark or scary with them, and it's just the effect. So
You had me with the pun, and I put the entire bag of 953 gold on a counter somewhere.
There's one main counter, even though nobody's at it, and she just goes, "No, keep them. Only pay her what it's worth, but..."
Well, this makes it better, though. If I spend more...
Should I just hold this for you?
Sure. I start, like, walking toward the door with the gloves. Like, I don't understand this.
Sonny starts counting out gold like, I cannot believe this.
So I am at 0 gold. Do you have all my gold?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, keep track. She's going to give it to you. It's
Oh,
just-
no, I don't want it back.
Oh my god. Well, you have a pair of gloves of spell muting, and they do exactly what Matilda said, where if you put them on, it does render any spell you cast completely null and void, except the visual effects are completely intact.
Cool.
So, all right. Well, Sonny can count that gold out. Once the gold is counted out, and there's still no sign of the shopkeep, Matilda's just going to wave it off and gather the gold from everybody and reach behind the counter and drop it into like a container that she knows is there, and then say that we're all good to go. So, okay.
Head on it.
All right. You guys head on back to the Emporium, which is completely shut down and is not, the entrance isn't glowing or anything, but it's still pretty easy for Matilda and all of you to find. And within 10 minutes of finishing your purchases, you're back in Matilda's Emporium. The inside is much like the last time, well, the last time you were sleeping there at least, where the inside lights are very muted. There's only the faint twinkle of residual magic and some of the wards still being active. And in the middle of the room, even though they've been trampled and like kicked aside and moved a bit by the traffic of people shopping there during the day, are the sleeping bag pile and the pillow pile that you all slept in because nobody's been back to clean it up yet. So when you walk in, that's the first thing that Matilda focuses on, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that."
It was a long night.
It still feels like it's the same night at this point. So food.
I'll get on that.
I was going to ask. I didn't show it to you last time, but there's a kitchen over off to the side by the bay windows, and it should mostly be stocked. I usually just have a delivery dropped off like every couple days and cycled out. So if you want to cook with anything in there, please just use whatever you want.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
He'll head that way.
Cool.
Xander, taste of home.
Oh my gosh! He's gonna give you a hug.
What's the candy like?
It's a little like they look like maple leaves, and it's just blocks of maple syrup.
Okay.
Like it is what it says it is. But yeah, it's a treetop specialty that is part of the fun outside of treetop.
Okay.
So Vander would appreciate it, and then Cass is going to give some to Sonny and Gaspard if they want it, and be like, "You should try this. It's like it's one of my favorite things.
It's heaven.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
It's super sugary."
All right.
I don't think I've had anything like this before.
Yes.
He's gonna pop it in his mouth and head to the kitchen.
It's really weird to see people eat candy for some reason. We don't really have a lot of candy. We don't have a lot of candy vendors in the city, and it makes me happy to see you with candy because I had a lot of that when I was a kid, and I always loved it, and we just don't have a lot of. When she takes it and her eyes light up as she chews on it. She's still the blue Eladrin, by the way. You all see that now too. So back to her old self for some reason.
Did you mean to change?
Huh?
Your glamour is going.
No, I didn't mean to change. It's probably your blood magic wearing off on the tattoo.
Do you want me to take a look at that?
We can. Or we need to find a tattoo artist, a wizard that knows how to do that kind of stuff permanently, unless you can do it or one of your friends can do it. Which I don't think any of them seem like tattoo runesmiths.
I don't think I could do it.
I mean, I could refresh it for now, at least, until we find a longer solution.
I actually have some knowledge.
Of magical tattoos?
Yeah, I have some.
I guess I didn't think of that. This is a great cache. Thank you. This is so good. So you know about, and then she like reaches over and just awkwardly pulls the collar down so you can see on her shoulder the like rune that has been recarved into her shoulder many a time. And now it's a pretty clean rune, but it's, you can tell it's a lot of scar tissue and it has a faint like white glow to it. This is what I use to keep the glamour on so nobody ever saw anything. So even if I go unconscious or whatever, it never goes away. You can't dispel it from me because it's in the tattoo. But now I don't want it. And I actually never thought I'd be at that point, so I need to have something cancel it out. Sonny was doing it temporarily with some blood magic, but it wore off. So I need a more permanent solution. This isn't my field of magic, though. So
Should I roll for something to see if I know how to like remove it?
if you walk over and take a look at it, yes. So go ahead and just do a general Arcana check.
And Sonny will also point out, like, this is what I saw already.
Yeah, roll with advantage. Sonny can assist you on it.
15.
15. So looking at it, you do recognize, you don't really recognize the rune specifically, but as you get close and kind of spend a moment focusing on it, you can see that it's like pure Fey energy. Like the whole thing is spilling Fey energy. And it's bright, it's colorful. It's a shock to you that you hadn't seen it before, like noticed it on her before, but it's probably just because her shoulder's never really been exposed for that long around you with that. But looking at it, you think you know a way to block it out specifically in relation to like how tattoos would be used for ki. Because it's kind of the same thing where this tattoo is pulling from Matilda's natural like Fey essence, and you could just block it.
Okay.
So you think you have a decent idea of how to tattoo it if you have the tools and the time and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know how to fix that for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. I never really, well, I have very minute, I don't know what, execution, I should say, of doing cover-ups, I suppose. But
All
I
right.
think I can if you're comfortable with me trying to do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I want it gone, and there's no one in Orishire or anywhere nearby that I know that specializes in enchanted tattoos. So I have something upstairs I can get for you. I have a tattooist kit, and it's brand new. Nobody ever bought it or anything like that, and I was hoping to offload it at some point, but why don't you just take it? And that'll be payment for trying it, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not, feel free to, it's not going to hurt me or anything. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's better than being stuck in this all day and not being able to get it off. So now it kind of feels oppressive.
Ah, I see. I understand. Another thing, I only really know how to draw flowers.
That's fine. Yeah, if you want to, like, oh, it's going to be visible, isn't it? It's going to be an actual enchanted tattoo. Okay. Yeah, you seem to have a great aesthetic taste as a fellow fae. So, if whatever you think would be fitting. So, let me dry off, get out of this. Same for her. Get some different clothes. I have multiple closets that have everything you can think of, including bard clothing. If you all need a change of clothes or anybody else needs anything, you can come up to my room and my rooms and use my clothing and stuff if you want.
I'll make us some breakfast.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you up on that as Cass just wrings out her shirt for the 12th millionth time.
Oh yeah, you're not wearing your armor, are you?
Nah.
Yeah, you didn't take any of that. Okay.
I'm just chilling.
Are you sure you don't want to come up?
Come help me cook, Gaspard.
All right, but if you try to touch me with one of those tattoos, I swear I will. Okay, I will send savage.
It's all about consent with the tattoos, especially. They have a lot of potent magic.
It's a good thing you know about these, 'cause mine were just sort of given to me.
I can always take a look at yours.
Oh, no, no, no.
My
no.
knowledge is limited.
I'm quite happy with them. They just, they weren't performed like that.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's nothing wrong. I'm just... Long story.
Well, let me take all of you up then, and if you want to cook, that would be amazing. So use anything and everything in there that you want to use, please.
Is there anything you like to eat?
I mean, right now, because of what Cass just gave us, my sweet tooth is going nuts, which it typically doesn't because I haven't had sweets in so long. So I'd say, like, I don't know, something sweet at least is one of the options for
I
it.
gotcha.
So, oh my gosh, there is when you find the flower back there, above it, there should be a little dark purple parchment wrapped bag of candy that I was saving for a special occasion. You should take that out too.
Sure.
Okay. But yeah, go tear into it, and we'll be back down in a minute.
Thank you. All right. Come on, Gaspard.
Are you coming with us? Are you coming with Matilda? Or are you going with them? Because I thought they were telling. Were you telling them to go with Matilda?
Telling them to go with me.
Oh, with you. Okay. Okay.
Best friends, yes.
Yes. Sure.
We're best friends now.
Sure you don't want me to bring anything down?
Maybe, yeah. We're both wet.
I'll bring a couple things down. I'm just thinking, giant, ridiculous wardrobe. Changeling.
Yes, no, but also giants. Do you have any methods of sending a message?
Yes.
See,
What are you thinking?
Well, we have a giant who we found out is not being persecuted.
Agver.
You mentioned Agver to me. Yeah, I know
did we
Agver.
reach out to
Yeah.
Agver?
Yeah.
Not yet, but we just told Matilda earlier this evening.
Yes,
Yeah.
we should try to.
Before somebody broke a stone open.
Why do you look at me? All I did was freak out. I mean, that's kind of my MO. My fault.
Uh-huh. I have scrolls and wands of sending. You can grab one when we come back down if you want.
All right, I am going to check out the outfits, but I will. You can feel free to, and you hear inside your head, call me.
It'd be nice to have someone to talk to.
All right. So you set out to the kitchen to prepare food?
I'll
Okay.
make pancakes, French toast, waffles,
Ooh, all the sweet things. I love it. And tea, I assume?
and tea.
And tea with your fresh new tea and herbs that you just got?
Yes, and
Okay.
of course take out the bag of candy as requested.
Yes.
Even
Awesome.
put some in one of the pancakes.
Oh, she's gonna love that. That's excellent. So the candy, so when you find the candy, it is like a dark purple parchment, kind of oily parchment with like thick twine around it. And when you open it up, it looks like coral because it's big, puffy yet hard candy that has lots of holes in it, and it's crumbly like when you dig your fingers into it or put pressure on it, kind of thing. So you could totally crumble it up and put it in a pancake, but it's very like greens and blues, and it's really pretty. So
Yeah, he'll definitely do that for a couple plates of the pancakes and
Awesome.
stuff.
awesome.
Is Vander making funfetti pancakes?
It kind of
Maybe.
sounds like it. Yeah, it kind of sounds like funfetti pancakes.
We're back to the food descriptions.
Yes. Shut up. Just wait till I describe the taste of it. Slightly salty, but very sweet.
Mm.
Like our DM.
Yes.
Yes.
Just like the DM. Huh.
Let's hear them disassociates.
I disassociate into the audience. So as Vandar sits out for the kitchen to make all sorts of sweet treats and concoctions, Matilda starts to walk towards the bay windows and kind of just makes an exasperated motion and poofs out of nowhere and then reappears a couple feet in the air near the bay windows, standing on the invisible stairs. And now that there's somebody standing on it, you all see the staircase illuminate in like a faint green-blue light, and she waves at everybody to come over and up.
That was so cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like once you see how the trick is done, it's not exactly as impressive.
I mean, it's being here at all is pretty impressive, I think.
No, the building is very cool.
And she runs on up after she gestures to you all, so you can climb the stairs. It's kind of a surreal experience because every time you step onto one of them, the stair kind of flickers and lights up for the duration that you're on it. They're obviously always there, but they're masked for some reason, so it kind of feels a little weird walking them up the first time.
I mean, Sonny just goes right up them with absolutely no hesitation this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, she's been up them at least once, so
Cast
literally
the
once.
lights in this process. I'm just like light.
If you spend a moment, if Cass spends a moment playing with it, she'll actually see that it's pressure responsive to a stupid level. So like if you put your toe on it and lightly push, you're only going to get like a pond ripple of the green blue. And then if you push all your weight on it, the whole stair goes flump and it's bright green and blue kind of thing.
It's gonna take like 2 minutes for Cass to
She's
get
just
up these
like
stairs.
ding 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 ding.
She's very impressed by this.
Jasper reluctantly does the same thing as you're doing it.
I've never seen magic like this. This is so cool.
It is, isn't it?
Oh my God.
As you make your way up, you realize you guys are climbing all the way into the rafters, which are incredibly high because this could be like a 3-story building that's just a 1-story with a massive ceiling. But obviously the massive ceiling is being used for something you can't see. And by the time you get to the top and are on like the final 10 stairs, you see the flickering outline of at least 5 different rooms up there, all connected by stairs that are still mostly transparent. You just see the faint little sparkles of an outline, but you obviously see a door with Matilda standing inside of it, looking at something on a bench, and she turns around when she hears you and waves you all in. And as soon as you step into the room, you don't see anything else except the room that you're in, and you're in an actual physical solid room with walls, roof, floor, everything. This one in particular smells a lot like grease, oil, and metal, and you see that there's multiple workbenches in here. There's all kinds of weird oddities strewn about the tables here, and you can obviously see that this is probably where Sonny got that pocket watch from.
Speaking of, at that point, she actually produces it. Like, I think I need to give this back to you still.
Oh, I think it's probably best if we keep that here just in case.
Just
yeah,
in case.
just in case it malfunctions, but thank you. And she takes the stopwatch and looks it over and then just sets it on one of the workbenches and goes, close this way, and leads you guys through one of the side doors, up a small flight of like 10 stairs into another one of these rooms, and it is a grand bedroom. So there's a giant bed in there that has a canopy on it. There are multiple bookshelves overfilled with books, including like piles on the floor that have yet to ever be filed or find space because they're full, and a closet off to one side with the door already thrown open that is its own room in itself with a ridiculous amount of clothing in there. A lot of it definitely seems like it's because she's a bard, not that she has an extensive clothing selection, but you can see costume
Yeah, it's
after
the
costume
costume
after
department.
costume. Say what?
It's the costume department.
It's the costume department. You do see the sections near the front seem like Matilda clothes, like the blue outfit she was wearing when you met her that had all the leaves on it and was very showy. And you can see more dresses like the one that Sonny stole. And you see like a lot of like, this is her everyday clothing, but then as it goes deeper, it's like costumes, this, that kind of thing. So she gestures at the closet and goes, take anything you want at all, please.
I will, and I'm just gone. I'm just going through it entirely.
Oh, they didn't wait at all.
I had a feeling that a changeling in a closet like that is going to have a field day, and it just delights me to be able to offer them that. So, what about you, Cass?
Just something simple and dry.
Well, I
And
mean,
not
the whole closet's dry. I do actually have a lot of simple clothing in there too. This is the stuff that I wear is normally just for show.
Cass is just gonna like quietly slink off, find like black tunic and pants, take it, and like awkwardly creep out to go find a private place to change.
As Cass like starts creeping out with it, she's like, Cass, I have like a bathroom and changing rooms.
Perfect.
And she just points off to like another door in the bedroom, and she's like, you can go there.
Thank you.
Okay. And she like looks in the closet and sees no sign of Gaspard. She's like, I do wonder what they're going to come out with, but it's going to be exciting either way.
You just hear hangers just being
Shick.
This is the most I've seen them move for a while.
Yeah, it's nice. What about you? What did you want? Because I'll give you this, and it needs to be mended, but same goes for you. If there's anything you want.
I don't know. Honestly, it's been a little too warm ever since I got here.
Say what?
The robe, it's been a little warm ever since I got here. This place is much hotter than home is.
Yeah, I was going to say it's decently insulated, which is why I think I'm still dripping, because it is just I don't know what it's wool or something, but did you want one of the dresses? Like, you wouldn't travel in that. What do you want? You can have anything in there, honey.
Maybe I should take a look.
Well, yeah, let's go. And she'll lead you in, and she's gonna immediately like stop in the first area at the doors and kind of like look at the dresses, and move on. And she knows what she's looking for, so she's gonna go a couple like rows down and then over one, and she's going to pull out 3 different outfits and just kind of throw them over her arm. But they seem like a mix between showy yet functional dark blues, silvers, golds, and stuff like that. And she throws them on her arm and just is kind of thinking to herself about her clothing. What's Sonny looking for?
I think she's just kind of like really taking the time to look here because this is very much a new experience. And last time she was grabbing an outfit from here, she was in a rush.
She was in a rush, yeah. Yeah, truly Matilda's built up an impressive collection in her, hundreds and hundreds of years that she's been on Ahora, let alone the 100 or so years she's been in Orishire. So if you want it, it's probably going to be there. She doesn't really have a lot of they're not going to be magically enchanted clothes or anything, but there's many different types of cloth. There's many different styles. So if there's something that Sonny's looking for, they're probably going to be able to find it with a bit of searching.
Oh yeah, and I think she will find something that calls out to her here, and a couple of you have seen this already, but I'll go ahead and put it on the Discord server.
Drop it in the Prismatic Dragonfly Discord, which you should be on if you're not already. Oh my god, that first picture of us I'm completely distracted now by the awesome cast pictures. The very first one I love the most. But yes, Vale just posted their current version of what Sonny's going to be wearing on our Mythical Family Discord. We have a public Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern stream channel where we can share stuff like this. And that is what Sonny is going to find in the closet and be able to piece together. Probably going to have to piece it together from a couple different things, but you can find the pieces and stuff. So, all right. Gaspard, what are you doing in the depths of Matilda's closet?
You can hear me basically going through and just various voices just going,
No!
shit!
This is utter crap!
Oh my god, she has one of these? What even is this?
Matilda, looks down and I wonder what the hell they're finding, but okay. Is there something specific that you ended up looking for, or because same thing where you're going to be able to find most of it?
Well, I'm gonna give you a description soon. I'm
Okay.
kind of finishing up.
That's fine. All right.
Cass has quickly changed and has just gone down to the kitchen, set her boots by the fire, and is chilling with Vander, helping out.
You said it was a black tunic and black pants. You notice that by the time you get down to Vander, it is a black tunic and pants, but the lancets and what is the word for the actual thread? I know the word lancet, but not the word for the string that would be in a tunic. String?
Right, the string.
The string?
I don't know. the word
When
for
you notice that the lancets actually just kind of, they have a shimmery silver quality to them, and the whole outfit just feels way more comfier than most tunics that you've been in. So it's probably some kind of a silk or something that you ended up grabbing.
Damn, this is nice.
But yes, you can go down and hang out with Vander in the kitchen while everybody upstairs gets dressed in their new outfits. And Vander, you're in the middle of making all these different breakfast delights, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Are you going to talk to Vander while you're down there, or was that just where you were?
Helping me cook.
Yeah, how can you cook?
Flip some pancakes.
Awesome. So,
I'll teach you how to make pancakes, waffles, and French toast. If
I've-
you don't know how to make.
yeah, I've not. I've made pancakes. Have not made the others.
I'll teach you how.
Awesome. Where did you learn this from?
What?
Where did you learn to do this?
My mom.
Oh. And is your mom back in Treetop?
No. I'm actually looking for her. This is why I'm not here in the first place.
Oh. What? It's okay to ask. What happened that she disappeared?
She vanished one day. She left a note behind, so it's like a vague note. So I'm trying to figure it out.
All
I'll
right.
show you at some point. I'm like when I know what it says. I think, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
But she's alive.
Sketching it out. Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, I miss her.
No, for sure.
I do hope you all meet her one day. You're all very nice.
Oh, thank you. That would be lovely. Do you miss Treetop?
In a way, but
Yeah.
overall, I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
Same. It's been nice to be away. So Gaspar's looking for their dad figure. You're looking for your mom?
Yeah, we bonded over that the other night.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what if they like ran away together and it'd be super cute and then you guys are like siblings?
That would be interesting.
It would be highly unlikely, but I feel like that's something that would be in a play. Maybe Gaspard can tell us which one.
All right. So about 10-15 minutes pass while you're all in the kitchen, and there was a bit of time before that as well. But that gives everybody upstairs the time to get dressed. Matilda's going to go through a couple different outfits until she settles on one in particular. And this one, as if the DM didn't have enough tabs open and should have had her own references up and ready for certain things. Sonny picked hers. What is Gaspard settling on?
It's being drawn as we speak.
Oh, literally? Damn. Okay. So eventually they're all going to walk back downstairs and come check on you in the kitchen. Matilda is going to be wearing something that seems more like a outfit that a human noble or maybe just a normal elf noble would be wearing, but it is a really deep, multiple shades of deep blue, gold highlights with some brown leather on it as well for like the belt and everything, and it's got just intricate gold designs. Her shoulders are actually shown off and there's high gloves, and she's wearing boots as well, like knee-high boots with it, and it's a very cohesive outfit. It just doesn't seem like anything that Matilda would have worn before she revealed her true form. And actually, she looks a little awkward in her Eladrin self right now, but she probably chose it with her new form in mind. So,
You look very nice.
thank you. I've always wanted to wear this one in particular, so I bought it in case I ever had to not use the illusion. So I figured once we take care of that after breakfast, if we take care of it after breakfast, maybe it'll be fitting.
Either way, you're very pretty, so you shouldn't be self-conscious. And then Cass is going to get really into like whatever it was she was doing. Like,
Matilda just looks at her and smiles. Thank you, Cass.
In response to that, you hear, "Beauty is not important." And you see a tall, fairly athletic build woman come back with pulled back hair and these long curls coming down the sides of her face. This very gaunt face with these thin, almost like reading glasses and thick eyebrows with this just glaring expression. A collared shirt with a little bit like of a loose top with like a really tight vest underneath it. One arm completely this loose, long sleeve with a black glove. The other one completely bare. She's got like a half skirt with these dark pants that go down to these like really nice like adventuring fancy boots. And the cape that Gaspard's been wearing this whole time is now like this ribbed brown fabric with these woven roses inside of it. And then of course the backpack is still there as well. I think, it's more important in high society to really consider your stature and place in said society. It's a new character. I'm trying it out.
I'm intimidated if that's what you're going for.
I would be happy with that. That would be fantastic.
That was all in my closet?
I mean, the cape was mine.
Yeah,
I might have ripped. Modified.
That's just gorgeous. Great job.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
that's
what costumes are for anyway. You're supposed to rip them and tear them and put new things together.
Creating new personas for
Exactly.
various plants.
What inspired this persona?
The Haven Stouts.
Oh, is someone to fit in with those. Okay. Very, very clever, Gaspard. I think you would fit in with them with that. Very much so.
I mean, what's the point of dressing up? I mean, it's basically to accomplish something.
No, I don't. I don't argue. I don't disagree with you in the slightest. Either you're performing at a show or you're performing for someone else in your life. That's why most of my flashy outfits are the ones that I wear for customers at the Emporium, because I have an image to maintain.
See, you get it. I mean, that's just basically one of the most important things. Is no one really gets it.
I mean, I think plenty of other bards get it.
That's fair. That's fair. Don't meet many of them these days.
Matilda just has. So Matilda, this is actually Matilda, not me. And she just starts like giggling in front of you, as if Gaspard isn't still clicking with the fact that she's a very famous bard in front of him. Anyway, breakfast. It smells delicious. Did you find the candy?
I did. I made these ones for you. So top ones.
Put it in. I don't know how that's going to taste, but that's going to be interesting. Thank you. And she takes the plate and like smells it and then goes, I typically eat in the workshop and I never bothered to put tables in, but if you want to go out and sit on the sleeping bags and in the Emporium, we can eat out there.
Sure.
Okay.
This is probably about when Sonny finally figures out how some of the pieces she picked actually fit on and comes downstairs.
Oh, she stayed up there for a little bit? Okay.
I just figured it's like she probably needed to figure out how some of this actually was supposed to fit for a second.
Probably, yes.
This is a top? What?
Shirt or dress.
I mean, especially in Matilda's closet, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody working together as a group can take the breakfast out to the sleeping bags if that's what everybody wants.
Decide if you want pancakes, waffles, or French toast.
And you put the candy in the pancakes for Matilda, right?
A French toast sounds the most palatable for, society. I need to read a book.
He'll hand you a plate of French toast.
You're really getting into character, aren't you?
I mean, I don't know.
Method actor?
I don't know what that means.
What bard college did you go to?
Are they actual colleges? I always just thought it was like a concept.
No, I mean, I didn't go to any bard colleges in Akora because obvious reasons, but yes, the bard colleges are real, Gaspard.
Oh. On the road with Giovanni?
I mean, considering what I know of that man, his experience in itself should be a bard college, so I guess that counts.
It was more of a crash course, let's say. Always
okay.
on the move to the next lesson.
Method acting just means that you like to try and live as your character before you perform them. So you're right now acting snooty and self-important, and you're trying to get in the character for if and when you meet some of the Haven Stout family. That's method acting.
That's good to know it's working.
Yes, it is. let's go take the food out.
And that's probably what Sonny's like at the bottom of the stairs as everyone's coming back into the main
Yes.
room.
Yeah, so all of you see Sani in her new outfit, which is on our Discord,
Mm-hmm.
as everybody's making their way out. So
Make your choice of what you would like.
Oh, what did you make?
French toast, pancakes, and waffles.
I don't know what any of those are.
Try the waffles. They're apparently really good. And
thank you.
Cass is just like stabbed 3 on her plate.
I've made plenty. Well, I've made plenty. Oh my gosh, my words.
it happens, right? Yeah, happens to people that just not the DM sometimes too. So Matilda and everybody, you can gather like near the sleeping bags, and there's plenty of like areas to sit down on, as well as Sani's coming down the stairs, and everybody can kind of dig into the breakfast that Vander has made for them. And almost everyone is wearing dry clothes. Yours is probably dried from the heat of just the kitchen and everything else like that. But Matilda does make a point of looking you over once everybody sits down and goes, you can still pop up and get clothes if you want. Like, your outfit's great, just the offer's there if you needed it.
I like that. Thank you.
And look how awesome Sonny looks right now. Like,
You look so good.
Thank you.
You all look so good. Fantastic.
Very good fashion taste in general with you and your friends.
Yeah.
I
guess
mean,
we are
I
friends
just
now.
found some things of yours that fit, so.
I mean, most of it should fit. Most of it's enchanted at least with an adjustment spell. It looks very beautiful. You look very beautiful.
Thank you.
I quite enjoy the altered looks. I'm surprised you didn't pick something more flashy, though, Cass.
not. I mean, you saw my armor.
I did see your
I
armor.
gotta keep it toned down and stuff, and I don't know.
And the armor's very nice, too.
Oh, your armor was beautiful. Hammond did a great job on that. That was very gorgeous.
Yeah, so like you can't upstage the armor.
Oh, I don't blame you. Most of my be in the shop working on enchantment clothes myself are pretty plain too. I just wanted you to know that I meant it, that you could take anything you wanted.
Right, but also like we've been in the armor for days. I'm like, I just want simple things, and so nice.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. No worries at all. Well, I'm gonna enjoy this then because I haven't had this particular breakfast item before, but the way that you mix the candy in looks really good. And she's gonna cut a big bite of her pancake out that has some of the like pretty much like blue rock candy in it almost, and tentatively eye it, smell it, and goes, that's amazing. And she's just gonna tear into the pancakes that you made her.
I'm glad. I also made a French toast variation and a waffle variation.
Slide them.
she's gonna dig into them. So
This is so very sweet.
Yes.
it's really nice to have sweet stuff. I just don't get a lot of it, especially I bet the whole city's not gonna get a lot of it after what happened in the Invisible Vial.
Were they really getting it in the first place?
They weren't really getting it, but I mean, they thought it was taking care of their sweet tooth. It's just dark humor to keep us going, right? So what are you all going to actually do about the whole Orishire thing?
I don't think we've really had time to think about it.
No, that makes sense, and I'm sure Kovita will have more. I just didn't know what you were all thinking.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, the Haven Stouts are behind everything, and we need to rescue Giovanni from them, or help him take down the organization, which I'm sure he's doing. And you need to see your dad. So, I think we should go to confront the Haven Stouts and find your dad, Gaspard.
Gaspard's French toast is gone and like half on them.
Should we still call you Gaspard?
I haven't thought of a name just yet, but Giovanni's fine. He's not going to be taken in by the Haven Stouts. He's there of his own accord. He's probably not taking them down per se. I mean, more so taking advantage would be more his speed, I would say. It would be nice to see him, but honestly, Giovanni being there is an extra treat for my own ambitions to take them down. But yes, I say we go there as, like I proposed previously, that we are an adventuring party of some sort, and if you're able to give me a badge, I would still like the opportunity to pose as Giovanni should the need arise.
Yeah, I can whip one up while we're here.
And we assert ourselves as people befitting their human society and take them down from the inside swiftly.
Do I need to cover my ears?
Probably. I need to cover my entire face.
Oh.
Um,
Oh yeah.
There is the issue that all of you technically would need to wear some sort of disguise around them.
Oh, right, that's not easy.
I mean, I have some methods, but they don't last that long.
Yes, half pint can go for an hour as well.
I can load you up with glamours if you need. They're all going to be temporary, and they're going to be wands or scrolls. I think I have enough in stock to get you through a day or two of being in disguise, sort of thing. Or if you have someone that can cast those spells, like I can cast. Typically, I can get a lot of like 5 or 6 casts of that before I start to get a headache. So it depends on if you have somebody that can cast illusion spells too. Or you can go the old makeup and costume route if you prefer that. But
I think I will have more difficulty doing it that way than some people.
probably
Vander
yes.
too.
Yeah.
It's not so much the features as the tattoos. They're a little garish. Maybe you should. And just starts smirking like vilely. We could always pretend that you're.
How close is Gaspard looking at the tattoos when they make that comment?
I think it's one of those things of like that kind of hoity, like like those little tattoos. I don't think it's like detailed inspection or anything like that.
Okay.
Why do you point them out? No, now I'm curious.
If anyone has looked at them throughout the day, they're not in the same positions they were at this morning.
Cass has noticed, but isn't saying anything because that would be polite.
You're learning.
Yes.
Socially inept from Chi-Chop. Do you have a place where I can bathe?
Yeah, up in the rooms I have 2 different bathrooms. So, and I have tubs in both of them, so you can use one of them if you'd like.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
he's
course.
gonna finish up quickly that way.
You saw the stairs, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, just go up. You're going to pop into the workshop. The door that's open to the right leads to my bedroom, and then all the doors in there, I think were open, but just throw any of them open. There's the 2 bathrooms, closet, library, and then there's the ballroom, which nothing's in there, but feel free to look around. But yeah, go ahead and use
Thank
it.
you. I'll be back shortly, and then we can get to your tattoo when you're done eating, if you'd like.
Thank you. I would feel much more comfortable after that, but take your time. The breakfast was delicious, Vander. Thank you.
I'm glad. Please, there's plenty. I made a lot.
Yeah, she's eaten. So she ate the pancake, the waffle, the French toast, like to try them all, and now she's just been sampling like everything that you had prepared, and a big cup of one of the teas that you prepared. So
Nice. Vander is happy.
Vander's just thrilled every time somebody eats his cooking.
Yes.
which is the most wholesome thing, and I love it.
Aw.
So Vander's gonna go take a bath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clean himself up.
And if Vander does want clothing, they can choose some up there. They don't have to, but all of Matilda's clothing and just her accoutrements up there are available for you to pick from if you desire to. So, but you can just go take a bath too. Okay. Back to the topic at hand, though, with the Haven Snouts. It would be hard for Vander, and she watches Vander walk up the stairs, and Sonny to disguise themselves, but that's what magic's for. And if we gave you some scrolls, you could do it if you really wanted to, but I understand not wanting to do that, sweetheart.
I mean, stuff depends on what the disguise is. I mean, I already can do this, and then just kind of focuses for a second and invokes her own disguise self magic, and basically just turns into herself, but a redheaded human girl with freckles.
So, Matilda's seen that once, right?
Yes, it's how she looked the first time everybody came into the Emporium.
Okay, that's what I thought. Oh, yeah. I mean, that works. But how long can you hold that?
Hour or so, usually.
Okay, but so you could augment that with some spells and scrolls and just keep the same appearance, I'm sure.
Yes, I think that would work.
Okay.
Well, you are all adventurers in this scenario. You could always wear a full face cover. I mean, the guards of Orishire aren't exactly smiling and waving at everybody that passes by.
I mean, you could get away with that. Back in the day, a lot of people did wear face coverings or helmets, and the guards tended not to push too hard if you were hiding your face. But if you're going to be trying to take the diplomatic, noble route, I mean, you might want to be able to show your face.
Temporarily. You can remove the helmet, but of course put it back on.
They make a good point. You just have your ears, Cass, so that's easier.
Suppose I could wear a hat.
You can wear a hat. Wait, how long is Cass? Cass has longer hair, though, doesn't she?
That's about yay.
Yeah. I mean, you could just style your hair and hide them, too, for the most part. It'd be a bit of a risk, but then you don't need to be carrying so much magic with you.
Well, I have been meaning to braid this mess, so like I could like braid them and pin them back a little bit, and it would be totally.
Yeah, like a double shield braid or something. And
Yeah.
then just... So I don't think that you would have really too much to worry about. Vander, unless they have that sort of magic, I should have asked before they went upstairs. They might be the hardest one, but again, I have scrolls and wands of disguise self, and that's all you're probably going to need.
Oh. Speaking of magic, though, I might need to talk to you about something when we're done here.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Well, anything else that you can think of about the Haven Snouts? Because I know that you were waiting to talk to Kobita, but if I can give you any other insight, I'd love to.
Who is the head of the Haven Stout family? And who should we ask for if we need to seek an audience with them?
I don't know. When they were here, Caleb Haven Snout was the leader of the family. But then there was the rebellion. Many of the family members were killed. I believe Caleb survived, but it's been over 40 years at this point. Longer than 40 years. God, yeah, well, 42 years to be exact, I think. But he could have died because he's a human. And sorry, I didn't mean to come out that way. But he could have died. He could have been assassinated. I don't know which member of the family is currently leading them. Caleb was the leader back when Orishire was occupied by the family. I would say getting to Giovanni is probably your best in if he's there right now, because he'll be able to tell you the current layout of everything.
I mean, I suppose it's hard to believe he would actually be on board with their ideas. It's probably the safest person to talk to there.
Probably. He's always treated me nicely since he started working for them, but he's never opened up on why he would work with them. Say what?
Treated me fairly nicely too, and he knew what I was.
Apparently he treated you fairly nicely. That's one word for it.
I meant before that.
Oh, okay. Poor Gaspard.
Poor Gaspar.
Oh, nothing. No, this conversation has been very fun. Not opening up weird wounds or anything.
So that's apparently what makes you break character, though, is thinking of that sort of thing, because you lost your voice there.
Oh,
You're
yes.
gonna need to control that if you're around Giovanni.
2 years is a long time to commit to a role.
Oh, I'm just teasing you. I know how hard it is to stay in character, especially if you're thinking about what Sonny did to your father. I'm going to be right back because I remember what we needed.
No, you're
One
pretty good
second. And Matilda poofs out into the air and vanishes.
Cass is gonna go over and like wrap an arm around Gaspard and be like, "It's okay, you're fine, everything's fine."
Gaspard casts,
Oh no, he's slipping through the
uh-oh, illusory script, and Vander, Sonny, you both read, "Everything is fine, we are family." And Cass, you read, "You also fucked my family."
Okay, I would like to just say it was only a little bit.
We're only a little bit family.
Just saying, it wasn't like, it's not what Sony did as far as I know.
I mean, I'm not giving anybody the details.
I don't know, but like I'm getting vibes.
You hear the of Matilda coming back, and this time she's behind you, and she's still chuckling under her breath, and she taps you on the shoulder and reaches over and hands you another one of the like generic wands, and she goes, "This has 2 charges of sending in it, Gaspard. I'm sorry, honey." And then she steps over and walks back and sits down to where she was sitting.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna use it immediately. Agvir.
Wait. Who wants to do the counties? 25? Okay, go.
Orishire is not as you remember it. It is amazing. Come to Matilda's Emporium. We would love to update you on current events.
That's 25.
Oh, really?
Well done. Out of curiosity, because it does matter technically with sending, what voice were you using in your head? Was it
Gaspard's.
Okay. So there's about a 10 to 15 second pause, and you feel like the connection established of somebody responding, which especially someone like you that uses telepathy a lot is familiar with.
Oh, fuck. It's like, what, 6 a.m.?
It is.
Yeah. You hear, that's really nice to know. Gaspard, I assume I will come by the city in a day or two. It'd be good to see you again.
Are we gonna be here in a day or two?
I don't think we're going to rush off immediately.
Okay, I mean, I was kind of urgently thinking that we'd get this all over
Yeah,
with,
I
but
figured.
Half Pint still needs to get her gun back for one thing.
Oh, that is true.
She might be doing that right now. Or no, she's sleeping. Never mind.
has she ever used the gun? I mean, is it maybe it's
Yes.
just more of a
She's used it many times.
The like PTSD in Vander's voice.
Boom! Right next to his face.
I mean, yeah, I should go. Actually, looks like I'm ready for a fight if we need to, but we could just go find Giovanni, get information, and then plan our kind of attack.
I mean, if we can find Giovanni without actually infiltrating, then all the better, sure.
I mean, it's up to you all, and I'm sure Covita will have more news eventually whenever she gets word back from the council, so.
And maybe we should wait for the council to say something to Pavita first, because I think we've kind of already done a lot of rushing around and making her life very difficult lately.
She always acts more stressed than she actually is, but she does have a lot on her plate. She's a very sweet lady, though. She's always been kind to me and everybody else in the city, and she's a great sparring partner as well. But we should, once the sun comes up, we can head back and see what she has to say and everything. So, and hopefully, once Vander's down from the bath, I'll have him see if he can fix my tattoo for me. We can head out when sun breaks.
How long should that be here? I'm not familiar with.
She rocks forward a bit to put her chin on her hands and elbows on her knees and like squints out the bay window. At this time of year, probably in about 2 hours, and it should be breaking over the bay, so we can head back. Then hopefully they're back after the boom and everything, which I keep forgetting about. So
Yes, part of why I think we need to talk to Pavita first.
I'm sure she's going to have a bit of a fit, but she'll be fine. So we'll all go back afterwards. So
Why we solved the problem. I don't see what the issue is.
I'm sure once she knows that, she'll be happy. I think it's just she is stressed because the city of Orishire is stressed because of the Hague situation, and when the people are on edge, she's on edge. So, I mean, I'm sure you understand, but and she's not going to hurt you or scream or anything. She just might be stressed when you see her. So, something to keep in mind.
Vander will be down in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good point then. So while Vander is wrapping up their luxurious bath upstairs, everybody is finishing their breakfast downstairs and talking. We'll pick up here in a few minutes with Vander seeing what he can do about the tattoo before they head back. And we're going to go on a quick break. So we're going to take like 5-10 minute break really fast. So the cast, crew, everybody like that can get drinks, say hi to each other, and we will be back as soon as we can. So grab something to drink and eat yourself. Please stick around and come join us on Discord and see the cool art and all the other stuff that we're posting on there. But we'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. No. Welcome back to the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. We're going to jump right back in. So, Vander, you got to finish up your bath upstairs. Did you poke around anywhere, do anything else while you're up there, or did you just use the bathtub in Matilda's bath area?
We definitely got at least a new shirt, new pants.
New shirt, new pants? Okay. You found in her closet, a lot of the clothes are definitely gender neutral. So it's just, you know, things that can easily be modified into any variety of outfits, so you can easily find like basic mainstays like that. And once you put them on, it's very subtle, but you do notice them kind of adjusting to just your unique build and form. So minor adjustments, but you know how like you put a shirt on, it's like a little tight in the shoulders. You're like, this would be so much better if it wasn't tight right here. A few seconds later, it's like, oh, okay, maybe it was just my imagination. It's better now. So
Cool. Yeah. He'll describe something form-fitting, like what's a good way of, you know, like how like ballet dancers have like these skin-tight suits,
yeah,
stuff like
Morph
reminiscent
suits
of
and
that.
kind of thing.
What's that?
Yeah, like bodysuits and morph suits and that kind of thing.
Not necessarily a morph suit. It would be like a two-piece.
two-piece. Okay, yeah, you know, you can easily find that up there.
Yeah.
By the time that you come back down, everybody's had plenty of time to finish up their breakfast. So just kind of like lounging around the area that you had all slept in originally and talking. And Matilda sees you hit like the bottom of the stairs and goes, and then poofs out of existence. And then comes back a few seconds later in the exact same spot, kind of sitting on the floor the same way, and holds up a silver kind of little metal like case and waves it at you.
He'll come over to her and take it.
Sorry, I forgot that was upstairs. I should have grabbed it when we were all up there. I got distracted. This is, so as far as I know, this is a complete set of tattooist tools. I know nothing about this. It's got 5 different tools in it. It's got multiple kinds of ink in it. It seems like one of the more high-end ones from what I could tell. I was going to sell it for like 70 gold pieces, 70, 80 based on what I had it appraised at, but you can just have it if you want to take a crack at this.
Yeah, I'd love to. And he'll open it, inspect it. Does it have everything he needs?
It does. It does. It's a complete actual like tattooist tools from 5e. So it has everything that you need to ink 1 magical tattoo. No, this one has enough ink for 2 magical tattoos. Otherwise, you have to buy it elsewhere. It has a variety of various colors for it, though. Needles, medical supplies needed for sterilization. It also includes a sketchbook filled with original tattoo designs and magical templates as
cool.
well, with plenty of blank pages to fill it in on. Also, so it's a complete little kit, which is really neat to kind of see, because Vander's probably never seen like a brand new kit like this.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and the notebook inside definitely is like manufactured, like there's probably the same designs in all of whoever made this kit, but it is a really pretty sketchbook of just like different designs and kind of beyond designs, like the magical runes of how you would like imbue a spell kind of thing. So, yeah.
It'll take a few hours, if that's okay.
I mean, we have a little while, like 2 hours or more until the sun comes up. So, I mean, as long as everybody else doesn't mind hanging out for a bit.
That's fine with me.
What's your favorite color?
You remember what my eyes look like with the pink and the blue? I really like that neon pink. It's like the only thing I ever liked about the way I looked until recently. And like that bright, offensive pink looks really good on my skin, typically, even in the like more transparent blue state. So like if you can mix some kind of a pink up and do whatever flower you think is really pretty, I'd be down for it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Sonny?
I mean, I think that sounds good to me.
I mean, if you have any ideas, feel free to mention them. I've never got a tattoo before beyond tearing that into my arm. So if you have any recommendations, considering you might know more about it.
Oh. I didn't really design these.
No, I know, sweetheart. I just mean you've probably seen more tattoos in general, despite the source. So if you had any ideas, I'm going to have this for a while, so anybody else wants to chime in too. if any of you have experience with tattoos.
I mean, I think anything that looks like your eyes is going to be lovely, so...
I mean, I know you can't really see them right now, but I'm sure you've got a decent look at what they look like. So, I mean, if you want to do a flower, if you wanted to do kind of, I don't know, Sonny, what do my eyes look like? How would you describe them?
Just pausing for a moment, it's like, thinking more objectively.
You're blushing. What do they look like?
It's like when you drip ink across a page, like there was too much on the quill and just let it fall and splatter.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you wanted to do something like that, like I leave it to you. I just want it shut off. So
I don't know if I can do that, but I can try.
I just think it's like a rippling pattern, like drops.
I think I have an idea.
okay.
And he'll do a sketch first, of course, to make sure she likes it.
Okay. And is he thinking something specific, or is it just kind of like, is he going to do like an ink blot, an ink splatter, a flower, and an ink blot? Like, what would Vander be sketching? Just for our imaginations.
So, like, think of like a stem with leaves and then flowers strewn about. Pink, of course, pink flowers. And then, you know how, like, in some Asian media, they'll have, like, the black brush stroke.
Oh my
That's what I
God,
figured.
yes.
So it'll be, like, around.
Yeah, like the brush stroke circle around like calligraphy or that kind of style. Yeah, no, that sounds beautiful.
He'll do that.
Okay, yeah, as soon as Matilda sees the sketch, she's like, yes, please. And you can go ahead and try and tattoo her.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I've never done this in D&D.
yes, this is actually a first for me as a DM too, because I love magical tattoos. I've given a lot of my players access to them, but I've never had an NPC or a PC try to do it. So we're not going to dive too in depth to the rules, but you know, you do have a kit. It might come up in the future, so we can start to kind of like look at it right now. Matilda's is pretty simplistic because it's not really giving her a bonus or anything. It's just deactivating a rune on her body, so the difficulty is going to be somewhat low. There is a risk of infection because of the tattoo. I assume Vander is going to sterilize them.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
okay, so that takes care of that. How big and intricate would you say this is in the vision that you're imagining?
How big is the rune?
The original rune on her shoulder is like the size of a $50 coin.
$50 coin? Probably just take up like the right here.
Do like a bit of a bigger around it? Okay. And it sounds like it has a decent amount of detail to it, right? Okay. So we'll say that that is going to be a medium tattoo with average, average intricacy to it. So that is probably going to take, roll a d6 for me.
5.
Say what?
5?
Okay. So it's going to take 5 hours ish, probably. We'll see what the difficulty is on my side over here. But so yeah, you can go ahead and start working on the tattoo. So,
Should I roll a d20 or anything?
not the way that we're doing it right now. You don't have any risk because you're using the proper tools. You're sterilized. You're not doing like a crazy enchantment or something like that. You have the basic ink. So all she's going to have to do is make a con save, and it's more on Matilda's side. And then, yeah, you just have to be willing to spend the time to do it.
Okay, yep.
So,
Does Matilda tap out?
no, she does not, because Matilda ain't a bitch. But you all notice so the set, of course, is a very classic tattoo set where it's spring-loaded, and Vander has to dip it in ink every like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, and he gets like a decent amount of pokes before he has to refill the inkwell. So Matilda starts out looking okay, but within a couple minutes you can see the phase just like kind of disassociate and stare at like one of the sleeping bags, and she's obviously uncomfortable and is in a decent amount of pain, which is weird for the lady that ripped a spear from her chest. But she struggles a little bit, but
it's like the quick jerk of pain versus like, oh, this is just like I have to tolerate for the next 4 hours. Okay.
Exactly. So this is going to take about 5 hours, which isn't going to put you past sunrise. But if everybody's comfortable hanging out there while this happens,
Yeah, so-
does anybody do anything during it?
So while this is going, after Sonny's obviously checked in and made sure Matilda's like this is okay,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of goes over to Aspar's like, so are we okay? I mean, given everything.
What?
I just want to make sure I didn't make a problem here on accident.
I mean, starting a cult is really like it's a big deal and a lot of responsibility, but I don't judge you for it. I mean, if I had the ambition, I probably would do the same thing.
And she's just gonna laugh and like kind of reach over and kind of shove their shoulder a bit. It's like, you know what I'm talking about, and you know what that just did.
You get a sense of pure confusion. Like just understands what you mean, understands that they have a feeling about it, but does not know what that feeling is to any extent. And it's like there's nothing wrong with what you've done. I mean, it's just
What? That was very strange. Sorry. That
what? What do you mean?
just reaches out. It's like, sorry, just touches again.
Oh, a little bit more like, what the fuck?
I felt something. That's
I mean, I don't know what fabric this is.
No,
really.
it's-
more like silk.
you are much less certain about this than you are saying.
I mean, I'm not certain about most things when it comes to feelings and relationships. Usually it's written for me, so yeah, I don't. We're fine.
Okay. Huh.
You need to be a lot more certain of yourself if you're going to be running a cult. I mean, frankly,
I'm not going to be running a cult. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not here to recruit followers.
Didn't Gaspard start the cult technically?
you say that from across the room.
Yeah.
I
In the
created
jar,
a
hinted at
mascot
blurbles.
for the people of Orishire. All right, that was more of like, I don't. I guess so. I didn't write any itinerary, if that's what you're talking about. So I mean,
Did Zani?
she erected a temple.
And you erected a giant octopus.
And the temple has, well, lots
If
of
you need
tentacles and sea life in it.
If you need a lieutenant for your cult, I am more than happy to take on.
I'm not. There is no cult. I'm not establishing a cult here. That was weird, though. Hey. Excuse me a moment. It just walks over to you two.
Oh, I'm like gathering the dishes while Vander's tattooing.
Okay. Cass, are you okay?
Yes.
I know there was a lot to think about today.
Regarding the Thunderpad or our next steps?
Just everything that's been happening, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
It has, it has. And then she kind of just tentatively reaches out, like, friendly shoulder pat. And the same thing that just happened with Gaspard happens. As an action, you can touch a creature and magically know the creature's current emotional state. If the target fails a charisma saving throw, you also learn the creature's alignment and if the last sentence they said was a truth or a lie.
So do I need to make some sort of a thing?
If you you can
you
make a
lie?
charisma save if you want to like disguise whether or not you were lying about anything, but the emotional state is absolutely just a thing she knows now.
17?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, Cass's emotional state is panicked and slightly grieving. Confused grief and panic.
Okay, something weird is happening, because I could feel that too.
Sorry, you could feel what? Like,
You're, you're panicking. And they are very confused right now.
Generally, are you?
I think
reading
everyone's a
minds?
little
I
confused
don't
right
think
now.
so.
I'm feeling slightly violated now.
Be
I'm just
careful with
gonna go
reading
to the
minds. When you do
kitchen.
it with people you know, it gets a little
I'm not trying
uncomfortable.
to.
Well, I mean, Vander, how are you feeling?
Fine.
I just believe them. I don't know if
Honestly,
that's going to be useful.
Vander is very honest.
Honestly, yes, I believe Vander very much too.
Fine. If anyone is ever plotting our demise, all you have to do is gently caress their shoulder, and we'll understand whether or not they're being truthful with us. Frankly,
I mean,
haven't
I
they done
could have shoved you.
I mean, if you want to shove them, I'm just saying, if you can be a little bit more subtle about it.
Matilda, do you need a break or anything?
What?
We can take a quick break if you're okay. Or
No, I'm fine. It's just, it's a weird sort of pain that I'm not used to, but it's what I can see looks really pretty. Keep going. I'm good. I'm good.
you'll keep going.
Disassociates again. She keeps rolling horribly.
Half aggressively washes dishes.
Here's some water.
Yes, I can do that.
So after aggressively washing the dishes, because there's actually probably not much, and you can clean it up pretty quickly if you're being aggressive. Does Cass go back out with the group, or how's Cass doing?
Oh yeah, Cass will go back out.
Okay. Okay.
Cass is masking very well, she thinks.
She thinks. All right. So as the tattooing continues, the sun rises over the Bay of Orishire, and the city begins to come to life. And even in the sanctity of the Emporium, you can hear the very busy dock kind of spring to life outside of the bay windows, because even though there's a magical portal to get here, it's still in a building on the docks. And you can all, if you drift over to the bay windows, you can see just life springing up, vendors opening their carts, ships coming in to offload and onload, and just the streets filling up with people. Nobody's coming in the Emporium, though, you notice, which typically they should at this point, so maybe Matilda shut the door or did something, but nobody's coming into the Emporium. But you can see the city kind of wake up, and it's very busy, very active. Everybody's out and about, like there's no panic or negative emotion that you can tell, but the city's very busy right now. And you see a lot of newspapers being passed out outside. And soon you see like pretty much 1 out of every 3 people is looking at a newspaper if you glance outside the bay windows. So,
What are those?
I don't know, but the last time something like this happened, it turned out that we met Talwyn, so I say ignore it.
Is there papers floating in the air?
no, people have newspapers. People are reading newspapers in the streets, and there's just an abnormal amount of people with paper in their hands outside. And it's all the same piece of paper.
Cass is gonna creep down and go get a newspaper for the group.
Okay. Well, you can walk through, when you go back to the main door of the Emporium, it's a slightly different color, but you can just walk right through it and pop out the other side. You notice when you pop out, though, like the big glowing blue light and all the flashy magic is disabled right now, and it's probably like Matilda doing it on purpose. But yeah, there's plenty of people outside reading this thing, and there's even just a couple copies that have been discarded on the ground, so it's easy enough for you to find one and pick it up.
Okay. I'll go back up to the group and start reading the headlines aloud.
Oh, you're reading it out loud?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
should for the group. Entertainment.
All right.
boy.
So Cass comes back in, and Cass has this giant bifold piece of kind of brownish gray paper that has a lot of different style of prints on it, kind of a weird amalgamation of styles. And when Cass starts speaking to everybody, do you want to actually just load the paper and read some of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was about to do it, and then I was like, why don't you do it, Cass? So.
I want to read it.
All right. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so from the Orishire Inquisitive, isn't that what you were supposed to be working for, Gaspard?
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. Haven snout strikes from afar. The invisible file, a front for evil. Yeah, well, we already know that. So there's a nice quote saying, I saw them in the alley fighting the beast until they almost perished, the heroes of Orishire. Okay, that's nice. I think yeah, that's us. Mysterious octopus in the sky. The real savior?
Oh gods.
I think we might be onto this cult thing.
Uh,
Theorizing about Glister Delight. A drug network in plain sight. What? Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. It has been just over a week since the initial release of the sparkling anti-ale Glister Delight. As this concoction circled the globe, reports of everything from full-blown hallucinations to vomiting and death have followed in its wake. Someone's name, who I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce right now, who are the manufacturers of this drink, continue to release statements to the public and are attempting to make reparations for any damages covered. Already, news stories are surfacing surrounding this delight, though with accounts trickling in where individuals have been found to distilling it down to use as a hallucinogenic recreational drug. Okay. We could get reparations. Oh, and
yes, that's the important
impersonator
takeaway there.
bounds. This publication has received tips that an unknown individual is impersonating as one of our staff members, Sandy Pages. Always ask for proof of identification before speaking freely to someone claiming to be a reporter. Gaspar. Did you know Sandy Pages was a real person?
What do you mean did Gaspar know Sandy Pages was a real person?
I mean, sometimes, the subconscious comes up with name. Did Carlita tattle on me? I mean, that's just frankly unprofessional. I'm a source.
I don't know.
Carlita?
That's just what it said.
Am I saying her name wrong?
Covita?
Kavita?
I don't know who all you talk to.
You guys. People died?
What?
People died from blistered light.
Apparently so.
Did you guys drink that?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us everything you did?
I wasn't there for the drinking part. The glister light.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of a
Hard.
sore subject. It was weird, alright?
It was extremely weird.
Well, I'm glad none of you died from it.
Yeah, that is good because, we were just having a great party, and Sonia and I were chit-chatting, and it was going really nicely. It was going nicely, and then we drank this, and we hallucinated.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, this was a very nice chat.
It was a very nice chat.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
No, nothing. I mean, can I see the paper for a second?
Yes, I hand you the paper.
I need a lot of these. I mean, maybe it's because I dress like this and talking like this, but I mean, it's also maybe this is kind of one of my biggest concerns is the fact that people might start to piecing things together and looking at it and being like, hey, this and that person do this and this person do that, and then it all happened on the same day when this person came to town. Isn't
You can always just walk around town as someone else. As you.
Yes, I could, of course, walk around town as someone else. It just merely isn't someone going to say, isn't that person? Didn't they say something that only that person would know? And it's just one of those things really where, usually at this time is where I abscond from a city and I don't exactly stick around for very long. How's the tattoo going?
Pretty good so far, aren't you, Matilda?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. It's great. Not the worst thing you've endured in the past couple of days.
Look,
not.
Besides the dispel magic, I don't think there's anything in here Provita is going to be particularly upset with you about.
I think you'll be just fine. Take it from me. The people that defend you are the people you want to go to.
It's just I've been thinking about one of the biggest hiccups to our whole entire plan is more so as simple as how do we explain this aspect to Kavita, to have her kind of sign off on any support that she might give us and such.
Be honest.
Yeah, this whole town is full of unique characters. We aren't. No eyes are batted at us, and the same goes for you, no matter your form.
And she's very accepting when Matilda's showed her real form.
It's kind of okay. So, and I fish into the backpack and I take out my probably still 120 bolts of my crossbow that I've never used.
Yep.
God, I love this thing so
Well, no,
much.
you fired one in the hag dream that you impaled Matilda with.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So you fired a couple, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I took that one back.
You didn't. No.
Okay, so my 119 crossbow bolts and my crossbow. It's kind of like if you were to take this right here, and I just toss over all of the crossbow bolts up there. This is me with everyone knowing what I can do. Generally, it's kind of, you know, there's nothing there.
I mean, then don't tell everyone.
Kavita and I kind of the paper, like, I mean, public responsibilities and all that. Okay.
I mean, we could just say you have a glamour on or disguise self situation.
Tried that before. It doesn't always work quite so smoothly. People have questions.
Be Gaspard again when you talk to her.
Could just be Gaspard again.
I think you should just be you.
I mean, what makes you comfortable?
But if it makes you uneasy, you don't have to.
Okay. Yeah, we'll tell Kavita our plan. Yes, that'd be good. Okay. Okay.
Plus, I think telling her will make it easier because if you come back to town as the one disguise you had that you were testing out.
Well, I
it'd
mean,
make
in
more
that case,
sense.
I would have Giovanni, and so that would be a lot easier in that case to have Giovanni there because, you know, it would make it a lot more simple. You know, generally that's what he does is he simplifies the planning aspects and how to deal with consequences for actions and stuff. Usually, again, we just
You're
usually run
rambling.
away. Yeah.
Cass just gonna hug Gaspar.
Oh.
You're okay, Gaspar.
Yes, I suppose that was one thing about Gaspard has always been very collected and calm and collected. So
Do you have another name? I know all your disguises or versions have names, right? Some of them.
Is there something you'd like us to call you when it's just us?
I mean, I generally go with whatever name I have. So as I am currently, I am Sonia Harriet Albrecht, core ambassador and architect of the Scions of Halcyon. At least that was something I was trying.
That's a lot of words.
Well, that's kind of the point.
You lost me at
yes.
Harriet.
Huh?
I will try to remember that.
That's like the fun of it. You don't have to.
But I mean, I know names are weird sometimes. So if there's something that you would like your friends to call you, like that's not just the character you have.
Names can be meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Sonia Harriet Albrecht. Will do for now. Or Gaspard. Or Sandy Payne? No, not Sandy Payne. Let's not do
Not
Sandy
Sandy
Payne.
Yes, let's use somebody else's name.
Yes.
Lady Sonia.
I like it.
Sonia, it is then.
I just picture Vander through all this, like, effortlessly tattooing while having the conversation, even though he's never done it before. And he's just like, chunk, funk, 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 as he's talking to everybody and having this emotional moment. And Matilda's just,
Tell me about your trauma.
yes. So as you get around like 80% done, it starts to have an effect on the rune, and every like 10, 20, 30 seconds it varies, but you just see like ripples of the appearance starting to change. And then as you like near completion, it finally snaps off and she's back to the true form. So you still have like the final outline to do or a little bit to finish up, but suddenly she's back to looking like her true form with the beautiful horns, the splatter eyes, the slightly more transparent blue skin, everything else, and then the neon pink paint splatter eyes. So, and she doesn't seem to notice because she's disassociating so hard. But the tattoo, you were able to convey it just like your sketch. So,
Every artist's dream.
Sonny will just walk over and sit down with her and like take her hands like, hey, you're you again.
is it done?
Almost.
Okay.
About 10 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as it's done. Interesting. But I'm glad that I look right, or I hope I look right at least.
We'll have to wrap it once it's done. Keep it clean.
Okay. You can
I
do
didn't
that.
realize you were green and orange. What an interesting color
I'm
combination.
not green and orange.
Messing with
I'm
her.
just joking.
Oh, that's funny. It's not bad, actually. I can't begrudge you the joke. And Vander's being as gentle as Vander can be, I'm sure. But it's just, I've never really felt that before. And that area is tender anyway after years of touching that rune up with
yes.
stuff I shouldn't have. So I'm paying the price, and it's fine. Whew. And so you get to keep the tattoo kit, and you have 1 charge of magic ink in there. If you ever actually want to tattoo somebody, we'll have to dig a little bit deeper into the rules with like the difficulty and everything else like that. But you do have 1 charge, technically, that you could use in the future on yourself or somebody else if the opportunity comes up. So. Because yeah, that is. I would have to also tell you the ink that's specifically with it, which we can deal with if you ever want to use it. But you have the colors. You have a full palette of colors that you can mix with like the magic ink, which is like the base coat. And you have 2 bottles of it. It's shimmering like a rainbow, and you've used 1 bottle on Matilda.
Cool.
So, and you have the other one that you don't know what the effects are of it per se, but there's a ton of magical tattoos that you could try to do with it. So, but yeah, so Vander can wrap the tattoo up, and then the second that you're done, Matilda just breathes the biggest sigh of relief and like looks up, looks over, admires it for a second, like looks at her hands and makes sure that like everything that she can see of herself looks right, and she immediately turns around and gives you the biggest, tightest hug and goes, "Thank you so much for that."
Of course. And he'll give her a nice tight hug back.
And then she looks and she's like, so you said you were gonna wrap it?
Yes, we have to wrap it, make sure to keep it clean. Try not to scratch it or anything like that. Just let it peel.
I think that'll be easy. Every time I've done it, I've bled pretty excessively and it's always got infected. So I think this was the right way to do it this time. So thank you, Vander.
Of course.
I appreciate it. And you see that in the new like blue and gold outfit that she's wearing, it fits her current form far better and looks like it was actually designed for her to be in this form because all her proportions are slightly different. But yeah, so the tattoo is all finished up. It's about, let me see, about almost 11 at this point in the morning. So what is everybody thinking that they're going to head out and do?
We want to talk to Kobito, right?
That would probably be best.
Let's head to Kobito.
Let her know we didn't actually blow anything up.
I know, we did.
No. Last thing I remember was shooting Matilda. Yeah, no, that's the good.
Wait, what?
In the shoulder.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was their crossbow.
it's fine. I mean, it's probably
It
not,
sounds fun.
there's not a better person you could have shot, honestly.
I agree. It's a good thing we're looking on the bright
Look,
side.
I try not to think about this too much, but I have seen a sword go through her chest and she was still walking after.
All right. Cool. Cool.
Oh, you did. Oh, yeah, that. You're fine.
Because I try not to think about that too much, but I did see it.
I assume we're on our way, right?
Mhm.
Same
Oh. Yeah, everybody wants to head back to the keep then? Okay.
I am wearing the exact same outfit, the exact same makeup, but I am Gaspard's body. Just confidently walking down the street.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
Beautiful.
Oh,
It's
no.
like, when we get back, I think the 2 of us need to talk.
So, before we leave, I mean, I guess you don't really know what you're doing right now. We can come back and get you supplies if you need it. Yeah, we can go back to the keep. So, okay. So you guys set out. Matilda actually, while you're getting like up and ready to leave, she's gonna go pop into the kitchen really quick and grab the rest of that candy in the purple oil paper, wrap it up, and just shove it in a pocket. But beyond that, you guys can go ahead and head out. And as mentioned before, the city is crowded. Everybody's out and about. There's a general positive sense of energy in the air. There's a lot of those newspapers either on the ground or being read by people. And there's a lot of people just openly chattering about it in every sort of possible way, with people gossiping. Once again, pretty positive though. Just like, oh my God, did you hear about the invisible vial? And what was that? And what was this? And that boom last night. And like, it's mostly inquisitive. Like nobody's like doomsaying or anything like that right now, at least.
Oh God. I'm wondering if word has gotten back to the city about the temple showing up yet.
Mayhaps. We'll have to wait and
Just
see.
listening, so like, oh God, has anyone realized? Oh no, as they walk.
Gaspard is handing out pamphlets.
So as you weave your way back through the docks, you can take the same path that Matilda used to bring you here to begin with, and you just have to weave through the crowds, and you get to smell the delicious. What? Do I smell food right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling it too.
I think our crew just got food or something, or there's food outside. But I'm smelling food now, and that just influenced the way I'm behaving in the game. 'Cause I'm
smells
hungry.
good. It
Freshly
smells
baked
very-
bread.
No, what is that? I smell like. What is
It smells
that?
like a food truck.
They're making pasta in the studio. God, it smells good. It smells like cheesy like broccoli rice for some reason. It smells really good. Anyway, so you guys are smelling food from the vendors.
Hydrate.
Say, oh, I don't have anything to hydrate with, so I will drink the wine.
Here, do you
that I-
want your?
No, I'm fine.
Besides, you can't drink on camera.
I can't drink on camera. One thing that stands out to you on the way back, and it's pretty close to the keep. You can see the Orishire Guard keep in the distance. What? Hydrate? I don't have anything to hydrate with, so I can't hydrate. Who redeemed it? Was it Ray again?
No.
Anomaly.
It was you?
No, anomaly.
Oh, Anomaly! Anomaly's making me hydrate. How rude. But still watching out for my health, I see. Once I get something to drink, I will. Fine, give me my bottle. Do not throw that at the DM. There we go. Haha! There, Anomaly. Hydrating. So, say no, I did not get into the wine. How? The DM's very distracted. Apologies. As you're making your way back to the Orishire Guard Keep, you notice a stand that is very close to the keep. So, like, the keep is at the small little island off the long rickety pier that goes to it, and there's a couple different carts and vendors set up in the immediate dock landing area outside of it, probably to try and, attract the guards when they're going to and from the keep. And where the keep's road comes out is just a busy part of the dock anywhere where you should have vendors. And you all notice that one of the vendors is selling a whole bunch of stuffed animals and stuffed creatures. And as you lay eyes on this vendor, you see that they're very crude octopods. Yes, pretty much that you see Sonny holding up, Vale holding up. And they're little stuffed petas. So little stuff, obviously fashioned after your illusion, down to very small details. And before you even have a chance to react, as you're taking in, like, what's at this booth, there's a lot of these octopods, octo-whatevers, and people are buying them. But you also see, more crudely, there's a bunch of, like, stuffed dolls underneath, and you think they're all of you.
And that just made me realize Sonny absolutely did not think to hide Heta's bottle and is just walking around with the octopus dangling off her belt this entire time.
I know you haven't mentioned it. Nobody's noticed it yet. Are you going to hide it now?
No.
Okay. Then
That's not going to be her first thought.
yeah, then you're
Start
fine.
tugging at Sonny sleep. Sonny.
And
Sonny.
she doesn't actually have sleeves now.
Well, that's fair. Something. Sonny. I need my money.
How much?
I don't know. How much do I need?
Lady Sonia, I got you. And I'm gonna go up and I'm going to buy a red and black octopus and whatever Gaspard wants.
So, yeah, the octopods are in different colors, so you can find one in that color. They're all like the same template, though, kind of a crude Heta that was in the sky. Your illusion wasn't crude, their interpretation of it was crude. And there are very rough amalgamations of each of you as a stuffed, like, doll for the most part. The details aren't perfect, of course, because of the visions of people saw of you in the alley and stuff like that. But there's half pint, every single one of you. Yours specifically has a whole bunch of rainbow thread for the armor, because you were wearing your armor at the time. Yours has 2 extra arms just sticking out of, like, the back right here. And there's one of a doll that looks reminiscent of Matilda with a spear in it, or something sticking out of it. And she just, like, walks over and goes, "My trauma.
Oh, gods.
I need one. That's glorious." And she's gonna buy a whole set herself. So
Good gods.
yeah.
What are you getting, Gaspard?
I, of course, want the weird mustached one and the one with the Heta. What is that, like 100 gold?
So you notice that they're actually selling, like, the stuff. Everything is going for 50 silver to 1 gold per. There's a pretty big crowd around the booth too, so you have to wait a minute to be able to purchase them, but you can purchase them if you want.
I mean, there we go. The more you pay, the more it's worth.
No.
No.
I mean, that logic is sound.
No.
You're willing to
That is not how money works.
say. I mean, if I give them 100
plenty
gold,
of
the next
things-
person has to give them 100 more.
Listen, if you need a chicken, you don't trade your rocking chair for it. It doesn't make it a better chicken. You're not going to get more eggs.
I left all my crossbow bolts inside the Emporium.
Yes.
We can go back for them later. We're not going to go rushing off to do anything right now.
I grab a Gaspard doll and start, like, clutching.
So as you make the transactions, the older man that is running the booth just starts to stare at Gaspard, holding a doll of himself.
Trust me, I wish I had this fashion sense, but as you can see, I'm much more advanced.
Oh, okay. You notice that you're getting that look from a couple people now, though. All of you are, because you're standing in a booth with dolls of yourselves.
Frankly, you're all rude, and I walk away.
I'm so sorry for them.
It's fine. No worries. And you can see everybody's, like, trying to put together the pieces of it. If it's you, but they can't really tell. But you're being looked at with a bit of suspicion at this point. So
We should probably go.
I want to buy
Matilda?
one of these.
you can, yeah. You can all buy anything you want while you're there before you started to get noticed. So if you want little stuffy versions of the party or stuffy Hetas, you can get them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sonny's not buying anything, but Heta is definitely, like, stuffed up against the corner of the glass with, like, one eye peering out, like,
It's like,
oh.
is that me? You're not buying Heta a Heta?
I just
get
take
Heta,
mine and
Heta.
I just start, like, putting it in front of the bottle, like, yes, that's you. I made you famous.
Oh no, you've drawn attention to the bottle.
I'll say that's around the time that Gaspard was like,
Walk
oh, we
away.
should go.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But yes, Heta seems endlessly interested in the fact that there's a whole bunch of tiny octopods around her all of a sudden. So, them, all of a sudden. So you guys take off towards the keep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe at a faster
Let's go.
pace.
Let's go.
Okay.
Matilda, are you ready?
I'm good. This is hilarious.
It's definitely something.
It is. So you can all break off. There's a couple people in the crowd that they watch you for a while and they start whispering heavily as you leave, but nobody, like, pursues you or anything like that. But you can head back to the keep, and as you're getting closer to the large iron rock gates that are completely up, you see a sea of activity inside, and it looks like it's once again filled with guards after last night. Many of them look like they are rather tired, and a lot of them have that weird kind of dust on their armor that was kicked up from the thunder pad explosion. So perhaps they've been out patrolling in it or something like that, but you can tell everybody's a little tired and worn out. So
Oh, I am so sorry.
so the keep's bustling with activity. Nobody really, like, there's a couple people that notice you when you walk in, but most of them, like, I would say every guard in the city can recognize you at this point, and you just see a couple of them, like, give you a friendly or tired nod kind of thing, but you're back in the keep.
Where's Kobita?
Just gonna ask random guard. I don't know. Last I saw, she had just come in from one of the patrols outside. Try the keep?
Okay, thank you. Get some rest.
That's the plan once we rotate shifts. So to the keep? Okay. So, the keep's doors are thrown wide open. You see a lot of younger-looking guards. They're wearing simple clothing that might signify they're recruits or volunteers or something like that, but they are cleaning the keep from top to bottom, and they have an array of the guards' armors set out along the walls that are getting completely scrubbed down after stuffies. Decided to look at Discord chat. That are getting like washed off with the dirt on them and everything like that. So the four of you walk into the keep as they're cleaning and the guards are bustling around with your stuffies. Yes, and there's the Heta stuffy. And you don't see Kavita immediately, but it just seems like there's a lot of activity going on. Are you going to do anything specific to look for, or just kind of wait, or
Ask one of the recruits.
say what?
I'll ask one of the recruits.
I'm sorry.
One of the other guards.
One of the guards. Okay. Well, you can ask one of the guards. You can ask one of the recruits, and they can point you in the general direction. And she is at the table that you found her at last night. So this time it's not filled with people. It's literally Kavita sitting in one of the random side chairs of it, not at the head like she used to. She is wearing the bottoms of her full plate, and then the top, she pretty much has a basic tank top on. She is coated in layers of dirt and grime and has a pretty much fully finished plate that looked like it was full of chicken and some kind of a sauce, and 2 mugs of ale that are empty and a third that she's working on as you guys like walk into the room and spot her.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
So important question. How do we look?
Oh God. So she just kind of like finishes, she slurps the rest of her current stein and thumps it down. You look flamboyant as always.
I was going for distinguished, but it is actually rather important.
I suppose you do look like an important individual. I see you have been purchasing merchandise of yourselves.
Some of us have, yes.
It's cute.
I
No.
mean, I can see the appeal.
You seem very stressed.
I'm not sure if stressed is really the right word. There is stress present. Right now, I'm very exhausted, sweaty, stinky, and at my wit's end. But I have just had a delicious meal, I have had delicious ale, and I am feeling slightly better. Did you care to fill in the gaps for me? What happened last night and why you shattered a peaceful night in Orashire with that explosion?
It's
Yes, Sonny, what did you do?
Just putting her out right there, huh?
Yep.
Half Pint wanted to help Lady Narvala with the Thunderpad, and we went out with her.
I know, I was here when...
Yes, it was just... We found out what was sabotaging it, and it was, Belmasaur, it's a metal that reacts with magic strangely. Somebody had seeded the site with it to sabotage the location.
Navala sent me a very basic report lauding and applauding you all for the effort that you rendered. She didn't go into specifics, but she said you were critical in restoring the operational success of their endeavor, and that you did help with resolving some sort of sabotage. She did not give me those details, so I appreciate those details. She also didn't tell me why it fucking exploded in the middle of the night.
I don't think
We-
that
we
sounds
were-
necessary at all.
Half Pint talked to her goddess, Fade, who said that we could burn the sabotage out. And it's was a larger reaction than we thought it was going to be.
And also, we needed to make sure that no one else died while casting magic. So it was a very urgent life-saving endeavor.
All right. That
I
makes
apologize
sense.
for the disturbance. I really did not think it was going to be that large.
I know. I'm assuming if Navala okayed it, she didn't think it was going to be so violent to the point of stressing out the entire city that is paying for her expensive construction. So,
Things were not too bad, were they? I mean, we saw that the mess, but
no, I'm sorry, it's more stress than anything else, especially what happened yesterday with the invisible vial. People were scared. We had many come to the keep seeking, advice on what was going on, if a war was breaking out, if we were under attack. It was easy to resolve for the most part. It just took me and my men the better part of the night and morning to restore public peace, convince everyone they are okay, and clean up some of the fallout from the explosion that we had. Navala has actually donated quite a lot of gold to the city from the fund that we paid for the construction from to repair it and clean it up. Not that there's any major repairs beyond removing the dirt, but the city is okay. It was just already on a thin wire of nerves after the Hague.
did she tell you her theory on where the sabotage came from?
She did. Once again, she didn't go into excruciating detail about the sabotage, but she did tell me that she believes, based on the records that she found, and she sent a full report to me on that piece, with copies, transcribed copies, she does think the Haven Snouts were behind it, and based on the evidence, at least, the Haven Snouts have every opportunity to have been involved. It's nothing that would ever hold up in any sort of official trial or anything, because the ship was simply there. You can't really prove that they did it unless an investigative council actually has sent someone to the Haven Snouts and they could prove Delma's Armite was actually there. And even then it's a stretch. But
You're right, much better to plan an opportunity to kill.
say what?
I'm sorry, we're not all planning the final demise of the Haven
I
Stouts.
mean, we were waiting for what the city council was going to say about the whole situation.
Oh, it's boring. We have a plan, we have a means, we have opportunity.
We could also bring them to justice through other means that isn't death.
Oh. Look, sometimes just get to the point, you know?
This is why you and Halfling are best friends.
You know, I now notice the similarities.
I mean, I understand people need to die sometimes, and it's not like I have not killed my fair share when it is deserved or in battle. But the Haven Snouts, they are just a family now, but they still have their own troops and their own city, if you want to call it that, to be kind. It's not going to be as easy as waltzing in there and killing an individual. We will see. We will
Don't
see.
see why not, honestly. I mean, we just go inside there, we lie to them, we get into a private room, we have a meeting, and we just, you know?
That's not really how organizations work. I mean, there are usually more people ready.
Anytime you read a play or watch a play, don't you always just sit there thinking, why don't they just do this? It would be a lot easier, they would skip entire
I
plot
mean, I
points.
don't really read a lot of plays.
Oh, sorry, I have a book for you.
I do have a lot of books.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm obviously overqualified for creating plans of this nature and such. So if you guys want to all throw in your hats, then I'm more than game to listen.
I mean, you're also jumping slightly ahead of the horse because the council hasn't okayed or told us what they actually want to do about the situation. You are still just honored guests at this point, and if the council does want to take some sort of action, I'm sure they will give you the chance to participate.
I'm just saying, like, we sort of know how to solve the deal, you know?
The look on Kovita's
You are-
face as you wiggle the doll at her is a very fine mix of like, I hate this man, I want to kill him, he's not wrong though, that's a cute doll, and I hate how right he is right now. It's just washing over this old woman's face as she just looks at you.
Just again, like making the hand do the.
Yeah, the little stab, stab, stab.
Maybe,
God, I love it.
maybe give your proposal after the council knows what they want to do.
Oh, I don't think I should give a proposal to the council.
Not to the council.
Okay, good.
Giving political veto what they want to have happen.
I'm just saying, we've spent a lot of time waiting, and frankly, I don't understand.
Actually, Kavita, there's one more thing I wish to speak about with the Thunderpad. Have any of your men been out to it?
You see a smile actually break on the old woman's face, and I think Kavita's smiled a couple times around you guys at this point, but it's when she smiles, you see so many crow's feet and laugh lines, and it's obvious that Kavita does have a good sense of humor, has spent a lot of her life laughing. And she just laughs and looks down at her plate and squints her eyes closed, and she goes, "Yes, Sonny, my men have been out there, as have I. I saw your little addition to the countryside.
I did not mean to make that. I am sorry.
Don't worry about it. One of our mages told us, did some inspecting. It's going to fade away in about 12 hours or so. It's not a permanent fixture."
I was a little concerned that I might have done.
I had my own thoughts about it until I knew it was a temporary illusion. It's very funny though, especially because I knew you'd probably be sweating it a bit.
The resale value of your Hessidolls is going to go way down.
I'm not really concerned about that.
We'll see.
I was not trying to recruit anyone into my faith either.
Oh, no. But if you did,
The council has been meeting for the last 2 hours at this point, talking about the reports that we have written and the accounts we have delivered of what happened at the Invisible Vial. So hopefully, sometime soon, definitely today, they will provide me feedback on their decision on what to do moving forward. My opinion, as someone who has exclusively worked with this council for so long, is they are going to have a two-pronged approach where they tell the city of Orishire a slightly calmer version of what's going on. They will not lie, but they are just not going to go into detail about the ghoul's dust, I'm assuming. But they will happily explain the probable connection to the Haven Snouts. They're easy to blame as it is. The other prong is the one I'm not sure of. They could send one of our diplomatic units. They could appeal to one of the larger governments for help. They could appeal to a known adventuring group. There's a lot of things, including asking you all to go investigate. I have no idea if they're going to how they expect you to do that or what they're going to ask you to do, but you can decline it because you've done enough for this city, and we will happily give you your awards, and you can continue on your way. As much as we enjoy having you here, I just don't want you to feel that you are bound to Orishire by any means.
I think we're going to definitely want to help.
I think we are interested in seeing what happens, at least.
I figured you'd want to at least know. I knew if I was as deeply involved as you all are, and she like wipes a thumb to get some of the sauce off the plate and licks it, I would want to see the results or the end of this, as it were, as well. Especially as someone that ate some of those vile pastries, I would really like to see someone suffer for that.
See, it got personal for us, so we gotta see this through.
Why did it get personal? Just because of the fight?
Yes.
What?
And like, we don't eat ghouls, that's just really
I mean, I'd hope no one does that, yes.
also we've had a taste of altruism, and now therefore we are wholly dedicated to the heroics and the fate that hangs on the balance of Orishire. And frankly, there's really nothing else that we want more than to see the happy faces of people in the streets. So I think we're going either way. Right? I mean, that's frankly all. already predetermined. I think we're.
Unless
could make
we're
a good
told not
paladin.
to, I think several of us are interested in seeing what the hell is going on over there. Yes.
After you said me a good paladin, you hear inside your head, "I'm lying."
Run back with, I know, but consider it.
She's learning.
Yeah, I'm genuinely taken back by that. Like, oh shit, you know?
They're growing. The babies are growing up. I love it. Well, I will happily tell you the second that they talk to me and deliver me their verdict and their instructions. So, as I said, it should be a few hours. But is there anything I can do for you in the meantime? I assume Matilda's still sleeping.
Did she come in with us? She was with us.
She walked in with you, but she's not there.
Where'd she go?
That's.
She's
She
doing
was,
what she does.
she was here a moment ago. She was with us at the gate.
Probably went to see Half Pint and check in on her.
That just.
Is everything okay with Matilda and Half Pint and all of you?
I mean,
Yeah. We just had a long 5-hour session of talking with her and giving her a cool tattoo.
Matilda got a tattoo?
Yeah.
Svander was working on that all morning.
Impressive. Well, I would like to talk to two of them as well and say good morning if you all wouldn't mind taking me to them.
Sure. All right, and Sonya's
know
gonna
where
go
they
back
are.
towards the door and check. It's like, did anyone see where Matilda went with the horns?
Oh, just like asking the
Yeah, just
orderlies
checking
and
the
stuff.
people that were back up at the door.
Um,
Like that's the last place. Like we definitely saw her there.
yeah. So one of the younger women look up at you as you're talking, but is like as soon as you and like seems confused, but as soon as you say like the horns, she smiles and she goes, I think she's playing a game or something because she was kind of snickering under her breath as she left you guys.
Which way did she go?
Oh, back out into the yard.
Okay, Sonya will head out that way.
Okay.
So yes, we will take you to them.
Okay. And I mean, if Kovita saw Sonny going that way, she would stand up as well. So she picks up her like chest piece and helmet that are kind of strapped together and her crossbow that's loaded in the other hand and walks out like very tiredly with all of you. And as you all walk out and like descend the steps, same scene outside, everything's really busy. No sign of Matilda or Half Pint. Where are you going to take Kovita?
I figure we're full.
Sonya's just gonna keep checking with the people that are like out in the yard. It's like, sorry, did you see Matilda? Just the horns, blue skin.
You don't get any. Nobody's seen her once you get outside.
I guess we go to Half Pint's room.
Is that just the general direction?
I would think
Okay.
so.
So as you hit like as you hit the bottom of the stairs and you have the main like area of the keep, which is massive, all made out of cobblestone. You have the houses that you've been staying, the rooms you've been staying in. You have the stables. You have like a training area, and it's pretty full of guards just going about their day and stuff right now. You suddenly hear Matilda yell out in an incredibly bright, like her normal voice, but even more bright and playful than normal, and she just screams Kovita's name in like a taunting, really adorable way, and it's from behind you all. And as you all turn around, including Kovita, who has a very like curious expression on her face, you all see Matilda standing over by some of the guards who are laughing at this point. And she's there in her same outfit, looking like her true self and stuff like that. And she fixes her eyes on Kovita with kind of a playful grin, snaps her hand out and rips a spear up out of the cobblestone. This spear is crystalline, not made. This one isn't made of cobblestone. It's like some kind of a weird transparent crystal, like the one you saw one of the cultists impaled on in the alley a while ago. And she summons it, grabs it, points it at Kovita, and just beckons at her. And Kovita chuckles and drops her armor and her helmet, pulls the crossbow up and goes, "Don't worry, we do this all the time. She wants to spar with me and is being a little brat." And she takes off towards Matilda, and the two of them start sparring out of nowhere. And as soon as they start fighting, you hear a bunch of different guards going like, "Matilda's fighting Kovita!" And it seems to be something that they've done before. And despite one of them having a crossbow and one of them having a spear, they get into close quarters combat
and Kovita seems very handy with the crossbow in a non-traditional sense, where she's deflecting attacks and catching the tip of the spear between the different parts of the crossbow and like ripping the spear away from her. And it seems definitely like something the two women have done before to train or pass time. And Matilda is laughing her ass off and just having a great time with it. And eventually Kovita is doing the same thing.
In fact, you were saying about the crossbow?
Oh, no, that's very impressive. But frankly, this is just highly unprofessional. I mean,
One of the, as you say that, one of the soldiers who's like wearing like pretty much plain clothes at this point, just kind of like elbows you roughly, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. The boss does this once in a blue moon. She's in a great mood for days. We all get to bet on who wins. Trust me, this is good for all of us."
why did you hit me?
I nudged you, man.
Do I look nudgeable?
I thought you did.
Watch the right arm.
Okay, one of them hears that. You do see some look of like recognition on Matilda's face of like, oh yeah, I should kind of protect that arm a little bit more. Definitely seems like they're going at each other, but not to harm, obviously, but they're getting to try a lot of different moves. You get to really see somebody do this weird kind of close-up style with a crossbow. And at one point, when she manages to grab the tip of the spear and jerk it again, Matilda was waiting for it. It doesn't go as far, but Kovita smiles and runs the crossbow down the spear up to under her chin, tries to twist it and push the tip into her chin. And Matilda has to face step out of it, leaving the spear in space, face steps to the other side, grabs the spear under the point, and then like puts her hand on Kovita's shoulder. And the two just break into laughter at it. But you can see how like Kovita probably could have shot a bolt through her neck if she was trying for it at that point. So
Lethal.
Cast with her battle axe. She's like, Gaspar, do you want to have a go at that?
I was actually just thinking that maybe I'm not as qualified as I sometimes like to believe I am. I mean, I get those spurs of like, confidence and God,
I think my
get
father
over
would
there.
call them delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I might need to talk to somebody about that.
a round of cheering breaks out as the two seem to reach a stalemate for the most part, and they're clapping each other on the shoulder and they're like talking between themselves, and it's obvious both of them put quite a workout into fighting each other and are just two old friends that are having a bit of fun. The guards all cheer at the outcome, and you hear a couple of them grumble because there wasn't like a declared winner or anything because they were like betting on it. But eventually Kovita and Matilda drift back over to you all, and as they do that, Matilda just kind of takes the spear, aims it at the ground, throws it down, it sinks into the ground and vanishes all in one fell swoop.
Sonny walks up and gives her a hug as soon as the spear is gone.
She seems like surprised but happy and like throws her arms around Sonny and then keeps an arm around her shoulder, and she's like, "What's that for?"
It was a good show.
"Oh, thank you. I figured I haven't tussled with her in a while, and especially now that don't have to hide anything, I could be a little more, I don't know, myself with it." So plus she needed to smile because as soon as we walked in, I saw how dour she looked, so I figured this would be a good way to cheer her up. And Kovita has a permanent smile on her face right now as she walks back and just kind of shaking her head. I needed that.
Gaspard hides the stuffies in the backpack.
Make a perception check, Gaspard.
Perception?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
The crossbow bolt is coming straight at you. 12?
12? Okay. You hear a small bell being rung in the distance that reminds those of you that might have heard this at some point in your life or at a tavern or in a city of like a dinner bell being rung. And Kovita kind of perks up and looks at the keep and goes, "That may be the council. If you want to visit your friend or do anything else, I'll be back in a bit after I clean up and see what the news from the council is." So she's going to head back to the keep, and some of the guards kind of follow after her, the ones that seem more like lieutenants. And you notice, as she's walking back, she picks up because of your perception check, she picks up the armor, like the breastplate and the helmet that were like strapped roughly together that are hers. and you're pretty sure you see a couple stuffed tentacles coming out of the helmet like she bought her own head of.
I've never been more proud and more concerned at the same time. That woman is an icon and a gem, and she must be protected.
And with that, Kovita Anna walks back up the large steps of the Orishire Guards Keep to hopefully hear news from the Orishire City Council on what they want to do about what you discovered during your adventures at the Invisible Vial Bakery and discovering the hag. So I think that's probably a good point to leave off at for this week. And we will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. PST to pick up right from there. Hopefully everybody had fun here tonight. Hopefully you had fun in the audience if you were watching, new or old. Once again, just a quick reminder, if you enjoyed the show, if you enjoy kind of just like the feel of the stream and what you're seeing here at Mythical Family, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the socials. Check out our website, check out our YouTube. Most of all, come join us on the Discord because we have a really active Discord. Lots of memes, lots of good Prismatic Dragonfly content, and Mythical Family content because Mythical Family is all about creating diverse, inclusive space for gamers of all types, and we are going to have so many different things at Mythical Family. This is our first studio. We're moving to our second studio soon. We're going to have multiple streams. We're doing D&D, which is Prismatic Dragonfly right now, but we're going to have other D&D streams. We've done a lot of one-shots of different systems. We're doing Gaslands, and we have so many different things in the works. So if that kind of environment and culture sound cool to you, please come join us on Discord and the other socials. And we'll see you next week, 7 p.m. PST, Sunday, on the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. In the meantime, have an amazing night and a great week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.